Grand final, ladies and gentlemen. It's a best of 7 series that we're heading into right now between Team Dynouh and Team Disciple. It's a rematch. We already had this particular pairing in the winner bracket final, obviously. And right now a chance for Team Disciple coming from the losers bracket to turn it around and get revenge. Get that big victory and crown themselves the tournament champion. Now, there's a bit of an advantage coming from the winner bracket. The blue team was the only team that was able to ban a map, or allowed to ban a map for the series. They picked the map, and they also got first pick, first ban, or basically could decide whether they wanted first pick, first ban or not. So a couple of small advantages really coming together for them here. They decided in favor of Infernal Shrines. They banned Battlefield of Eternity. The red team didn't get a ban since they came through the lower bracket. It's always the idea, you want to give an advantage to the team that came to the grand finals through the winner bracket. And then you don't make it at one score, 1-0 lead in exchange. Now, in addition to that, there obviously is always the fact that you usually play a lot of games when you're coming through the lower bracket, so your opponent has a little bit more time to prepare for the series, to also watch and see who they play against and analyze them a bit. So that's one of the advantages. And depending on which team actually makes it into the grand final, there's a chance that they've been playing for a long time that very day, and obviously that tires you out at some point, simply mentally. But again, that's the problem when you go through the lower bracket. So there is always an advantage making it to the winner bracket, and that's what you're essentially looking for. Now, with that said and done, we now got Hogger and Malfurion locked in. So Scorch gets his Malfurion play again. And the one thing that most of you probably have realized, if you've watched all of the games here in the playoffs, is that right now, Morenas is essentially picking an early game Hanzo every single time that he gets a chance to do so. I mean, every single time. I like that we have Dynouh banning out Ophir because they are clearly showing some respect here. Tracer, on the other hand, banned against them. We got Jojo also banned out, which makes perfect sense to me after we've now seen Nagrom complete subdue twice in quick succession. So, yeah, get rid of that Johanna. Another fact is obviously this is Infernal Shrines. It's also one of the few games where we don't have Blaze going up against the Haka simply because the Haka got banned, so they deviated away into Hogger instead as a side laner. Okay. And then over on the left side, let's see what we're going to get after that Blaze pick. Now, main tanks haven't been chosen yet either. Usually, Diablo, Garrosh, good choices. Can always also go into Murden, obviously, but when you're fighting on the Shrine, those Stormballs are oftentimes being soaked up by the Shrine minions. They go Tyrael. Alright, I like that even more. Tyrael is kind of fun when he gets played. We don't see him as much as I would like to, but we have seen him more in this tournament now again after the recent... I mean, rework is a bit of a stretch, but he got, obviously, in the recent patch, a couple of adjustments. And a few of the talents got moved around, so I wouldn't quite call it a rework, but yeah, got there. Vala now by Dynouh. Also I like it to play. And as we're heading into game number 1 of the best of 7 series in the grand final, let's see what exactly Disciple and his boys are going to do. They go for Carrigan and we get Diablo. So we have our triple frontline for them. And this time with Carrigan as well. Didn't work out all too well for Ultralisk on Team Lopaka when they tried to pull it off here. But maybe the red team now is able to get a bit more value out of it. Now, with that said and done, Cure, the final choice. We had a lot of Thrall from him so far. Is that what we're going to get again? That triple frontline play with Vala as a solo damage dealer from afar. That would make sense. And yes, it's Thrall again. So Cure is going into the hero that he has probably played the most so far in the tournament. Infernal Shrines, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 1. Off we go, grand final. On the left side, in blue, Cure on Thrall. It's actually funny to me how reliably and how often Cure has now been locked in on Thrall. It seems like the only hero that he plays this tournament. Team Dynouh with Copenhagen on Blaze. We got Captain Rex on Brightwing. Dynouh is playing Vala, and then Bad Benny on Tyrael. Comes in with the Ardent Restoration, as over on the right side. Team Disciple of a fresh victory against Team Lopaka is now playing with Ubi and Hogger. We got Scorch on Malfurion, Disciple on Carrigan, Nagrom on Diablo, and Morenas is playing Hanzo. So, who is gonna start this off with a win and the lead? Nice stun, good lick, lots of damage against Benny, nearly pulled a Lauber there. but able to survive through it. And now instead we're focusing on Kerrigan, and Disciple was already getting a bit low on this one. Now, with that mid lane brawl, we now have also the level 1 talent locked in for Vala, and to no one's surprise, it is indeed an auto attack play that we're going to get from her. I mean, let's face it, anything else would have honestly been a bit of a weird choice. This is not really... With a single range damage dealer, it had to be auto attack. I mean, a C standard build right now can technically always go into multi-shot, for example, on this map, but this is more of a niche build that you, when you see it, also only see when there is a second range damage dealer. Maybe a mage that has also some extra damage for them, and it's just not really the case right now. So down here, with a little more poke happening, they're keeping Benny at bay. Another nice stun. But at least in this case, they weren't able to follow it up with any of the usual stuns. Neither Kerrigan hitting the combo, nor Malfurion being able to land the root here. Hitting Tyrael and consistently locking him down is always a bit tricky. I'm not sure if they would have been able to get a kill, but I like the aggression that they show against him, and that of course also shuts down some of the more aggressive tendencies that we're seeing from Bad Benny right now, aiming to scout out where the opponent is and maybe invading a couple of points. But yeah, for now we got still some rotations from both of the teams. Nagrom is looking for opportunities to get some wall stuns out the entire time. Disciple, of course, wants to follow up on that if he has a chance. The quest talent for Thrall on level 4, as usual, but getting reciprocate for Tyrael. And now Diablo in some trouble, and that is first blood. Nicely done. Team Dynouh gets a kill. Diablo gets eliminated. Hogger wasn't with them. He's just sitting all the way up on the top. Stinks up the top lane. And gets stunned out by Blaze a second later. So a little bit of a ping pong for a moment. I thought he would move through the wall. I mean, I've seen crazy Hogger interactions and weird spaces that he all of a sudden bounced into, but that looked for just a second like he would move straight through that gate and find himself on the other side bouncing into the fort, which would have definitely been the end of him. So yeah, thankfully for him the collision worked. Talking about collisions, another one at the bottom of the map, but they're going for Benny again. And there's even no Brightwing coming in to try and help out, but there's a lot coming here, and a nice route, and Captain Rex gets wrecked. So, Brightwing is gone. That's a fitting first target here. Just eliminate the fruit fly all day, every day. But that gives us a lead on the objective for Team Disciple. Amongst other things, just simply because of the fact that, well, Brightwing wasn't here yet. Top side, Blaze, they stole the camp away, so Blaze is also taking the minion wave out. That is really annoying for Hogger. He's in a very, very tricky spot at this point. But his team is likely going to get the objective. They have already a massive lead there. So the Shaman is going to be taken out by the tower. That's the good news. Hogger is dealing with the rest here and will then probably move down to the bottom of the map. But they're already sitting at 38. Diablo gets attacked, pushes his way out, 39. And they will definitely get this one. Yeah, Disciple is moving slowly out, but gets killed. Kerrigan gets ragdolled towards the fort. Blaze jumped in with the big jet propulsion against Hanzo. But also the stun again. Oh my god, Vala! Vala goes down and loses some of the attack speed. The stun procced on the side of the Punisher and connected with her. And the follow-up just left her no chance. So that's a kill right there. And, well, that's 2 kills to 2, but it's still a very nice trade for the red team. For multiple reasons, honestly. First of all, it's the only range damage, so that keeps the Punisher alive way longer. And second of all, you're removing some of the attack speed bonus on Vala's end. So, yeah, quite nice. Good damage, but not enough on that fort. They opened up the wall, which is obviously neat, but I suppose they would have liked to get a bit more here. Dynouh's trying to push Ubi back at the top and maybe get himself also a few stacks for the next quest reward. Malevolence is in for Diablo, and yeah, Nagrom is already sitting down at the bottom of the map. Kinda safeguarding this and seeing if somebody rotates in for it, but talking about rotations, we have Kerrigan getting attacked here. Hogger is creating some space, attempting to save her. We'll have to jump out, and Kerrigan gets killed. It seems like Hogger is also going to die. He's going to waste their time a little bit, but eventually he's going to fall, and that's the case right here, right now. So instead of 1 kill, they're now getting 2. And they're going to be pretty happy about this. Team Disciple sacrificing 2 heroes instead of 1. And I guess Morena's down here. Are they going to be able to get that camp? And the answer is yes. With Diablo pushing in, they have that time. But it's also the blue team busy at the top trying to go for the wall and the gate, and they're taking it out. So that's the towers gone. They got level 10 already. Earthquake again for Thrall. We've seen this a few times from Cure already. Yeah, and that's just dumb. I mean, honestly, that's just a little bit stupid. I understand you're trying to save your fort, but if you're all alone and then moving in against an opponent that has level 10 abilities, amongst them Tearel Sanctification, which they didn't even have to use, then you're just asking for it. So Kerrigan comes in, gets killed again. That's the 3rd time now that Disciple has fallen, and that was an unnecessary death at the top. You might lose your fort, probably not, but you have to just wait it out for a few more seconds until you have 1 or at least 2 more heroes there to help you out. If you're just engaging 1v4, I believe it was at the time, you're just asking for it. So, yeah, Kerrigan dead again, back to business now. They both have level 10 abilities. Gives us lots of stuns. Apocalypse, Shockwave, and Hanzo Arrow for Team Disciple. And over in the middle, next attack is already happening, so they're starting to get their value right here. Arrow is already out. They come in for Thrall, who gets the Earthquake. Cure is gone. Damn, that Ragdoll. Oof. That got flipped on the other side of the map, basically. Magrom is still alive, at least for now. But there's another quest already for Vala, but they're targeting her and they are able to take her down again, which is now 10% of the attack speed that are missing. Scourge on Malfurion gets fully chased by Tyrael, though, and finally falls. Hogger wasn't there for them, so he is still at the top. That's a little bit of a downside on all of this. But by now the next objective is up and they can start to make a move for that one as well. So Disciple already dancing around here, dodges out on the jet propulsion this time. Hanzo is at the bottom of the map and tries to get another minion wave destroyed. They want to get closer to level 13. The blue team has a lead and they want to make sure that they're not trailing them with a talent for too long. But also it applies additional pressure to the bottom fort, which they nearly can take out now. Problem is that Bad Benny and his boys are taking the initiative on the objective and will likely walk away with the Punisher if nobody starts to go in for it. Kerrigan is at the top. Could definitely move in now, but they have to force a fight if they want to have a chance of taking this. And that's what they're more or less trying to do. The bunker comes out very early on the other hand. And Bad Benny is low, gets the heal from Brightwing as the Z comes through. But it's 31 stacks now. And unless they're getting a very quick hit on somebody, this is going to be a blue team Punisher. 34, and you can already see that they're starting to retreat here. They go for the minion wave, they get level 13, but they're realizing that it's not going to happen. They don't want to proc the jump in front of the wall. Well, okay. Now there's no wall left anymore, so yeah, scratch the last statement. But they can still bait it over a little bit closer to the fort, and that's what they're currently doing. Holy ground, Diablo pushes out. The arrow beautifully dodged, straight on its way to Florida. Narrowly missed the target. NA says hi, and here comes a beautiful combo on Thrall. That was honestly glorious. That was a perfect combo on Thrall. Arrow into Apocalypse. Well, the arrow missed. It was a zoning arrow, but they still locked him down, and then the Apocalypse was right there. Now they go for Blaze, and Copenhagen is dead too. So Team Disciple gets a double kill. But yeah, that was beautiful. So, Kerrigan combo into the APOC. The arrow, obviously, just to distract Thrall a little bit so that Kerrigan could get her shot. So it was all planned from start to finish. He never really aimed for the hero in the first place. But instead, we now have 6 kills to 6, and the lead in experience all of a sudden goes over to Disciple. So here comes the next little players. They're going for Tyrael. Bad Benny starts to move away from this. Kerrigan with the Chrysalis, low and likely about to die, is still able to hop around, but the Holy Ground shuts the path of retreat off, and that is the end of Disciple. So, that bottom fort, by the way, is still standing. I mean, at this point, honestly, this is triggering OCD episodes, because that thing has been on low HP for way too long. Damage output, just a bit of a side note, Vala is at 22,000, behind Tyrael, I might add. So, Not really too much of an impact so far from Dynouh, and let's not forget, died 2 times. So a lot of the attack speed bonus gone. Level 16 soon kicking in for Disciple. And it's a beautiful game 1 in this best of 7 series. I mean, fantastic, fantastic game that we have right now on Infernal Shrines. Bit of vision again granted. Brawl died also only twice. It honestly feels like more often. But level 16, Carrigan combo, Benny! Yeah, he gets out. But that looked dangerous for a second. So here's a level 16 talents for them. Tyrael has so far not fallen, which is pretty impressive, honestly. Domination is ready, and we got the headbanger for... Ooh, careful. Dynouh, yeah. Nagrom can be very, very dangerous with this. But, well, as I said, Vala is able to get away. We now have the quest for Thrall, still not completed. At this point, it's still completely reset to 0. He gets synergy with his level 16 talent right now. But obviously, Cure needs to work on this one as well. They're still ahead in kills a little bit. There's not a single fort that has been destroyed. We're 11.5 minutes into the game. All the forts are still standing. Next objective spawns at the top, and it seems like they are finally ready to push for this and try and take that out. And I spoke too soon. They're not really ready. They're a bit worried about their own fort at the top, because that's where the next objective spawns, and you want to hold on to that fountain. So they're rotating up there with everything that they have. They already got their camp. In comes the attack again. Holy Chrysalis, the shockwave from Hogger. And they go for Trashwing, but Brightwing somehow survives. And Diablo goes down instead, and Disciple falls shortly after. So that is a double kill. Diablo at least respawns. Not so much for Carrigan. So can Carrigan carry the game again? And the answer is nope. Now we have also Malfurion dead, and they are just getting absolutely murdered. The sacrificial lamb, as so often, is Cure on Thrall, but it's still an utter disaster here for the red team. They're losing way too much. They just can't kill Vala either. So all of a sudden it's Hanzo that's being chased. He's the next one on the list, and they might even be able to get another kill on Nagrom's Diablo. The fort is already out, and we're not even talking objective yet. So, yeah, Malfurion died, and even with the APOC here, I mean, he got Thrall. Good for him. But they're falling way too far behind now. It's a nice back and forth, though, because initially it was the blue team that was ahead in experience, and then all of a sudden, with a few quick kills, Team Disciple turned it over and was nearly a level ahead. Team Dynouh started to close that gap, and now they surpassed them again. But as already expected a bit earlier, Diablo indeed is dying once again. And this seems like, with a kill on Carrigan, we're having the blue team just starting to utterly dominate this. 14 kills to 7 now. Quick reminder, just a minute ago it was 7 kills to 6. Since then they picked up 7 kills, lost only Thrall, and they are about to get another objective with forts being destroyed all over the place. Down at the bottom of the map, for example, we're having Thrall already work on the final one. And since Brightwing is helping out here too, likely going to be the end of this one. 39 stacks, so they're... actually, they're going to keep it. So they're going to delay this a little bit. The idea here is to get them closer to level 20. And once that they have a chance to push with level 20 and the Punisher, they're going to do exactly that. You want to have a keep. You want to maximize the damage that you can do against the opponent. So that's the whole game plan here. Keep it at 39 out of the 40 that you need. Wait until you get the experience. It gets you a little bit closer. Then move back up towards the top. Technically speaking, Team Disciple could try and force their hand, but obviously they don't want to engage on the shrine because it would just allow Team Dynouh to flank them. The worst case scenario with level 20, and there's just no way they're getting 40 minions before the blue team makes their move. So, yeah. But then again, already we have the red team getting in position for that fight. Bit of experience gathered by Team Disciple, but they're a level behind. There's also a lot of mercenary camps now on the map that need to be dealt with, and Carrigan, for example, is attempting to do that in the middle. Earthen Shields, that's a huge tool now for that fight. That's massive. Absolutely massive. And let's not forget, we also got the Holy Arena right now. So, duration increase, if you want to go for keep or core, that's fantastic. And damage increase, in and of itself, is already a massive victory. So, at this point... Punisher's already starting to jump this one out. Gets baited over a little bit. Quest completed for Diablo again. So he has his revive. There's a kill, potentially, and Sanctification plus Bunker saved them. But that was close. That was really close. Nice moves from Team Disciple, baiting out multiple heroic abilities with one fell swoop, and they nearly netted themselves a kill. Again, the play for Thrall as he gets away. Punisher's down to 50% of its HP, and it seems like they won't be able to end. They got close, but Team Dynouh just doesn't have what they need here. At least not from the looks of it. Unless... Can they get the kill now? They can. Diablo is gone, but he will be back. Blaze won't be. Blaze won't be, and this is where they shut it down. And I was wrong. He wasn't done with his quest. Well, the quest notification was actually for his level 13 talent from the looks of it. So he's still 8 short of getting the revive. But with the kill against Blaze, they have to fall back anyways. So, yeah, there we go. Carrigan with a couple of blind combos into the bushes, just on the off chance that somebody's trying to lay a trap for them. We got 15 kills to 8 now. 50 stacks, by the way, for Tyrael. So, not shabby. Really, really nice survivability for him because of that now. Level 20 on both sides. The Lunar Shower for Malfurion. Definitely prefer that over a Golden Shower. So Malfurion apparently does too. He's not so much on the Anubarak side. Yeah, we know. It's all good. You're not even in the game, so shut up. So, 14, 15 kills now. 1 keep gone. And funnily enough, the blue team hasn't even lost a single fort yet. Not one. This one is also still standing right there. Arrow! Oh, they all dodge it. Oh my god. Woof! Narrowly missing the target. Once again, the NA arrow is right there. And it was close. For a second, it looked like Tyrael actually did not see it coming. And Bad Benny moved out at the very last moment, or that could have been a bit of a disaster. If that arrow connects and they chain another CC after it and Tyrael dies, then the red team is in the driver's seat again. But currently, the map is being fully ruled by Team Dynouh. They have the little winner bracket advantage, obviously, but they are playing just a fantastic series currently. I mean, as far as you can call it a series. It's a fantastic game from them. After they got that big lead at the top lane, where they did so much damage, it was pretty solid. So, right now, we have already kill after kill here. Against structures, against heroes, they are taking camps, they are basically dominating every single move. And Team Disciple is just waiting for a mistake, waiting for a chance where they can... Where somebody steps out a little bit too much and they can try and get a kill. The objective is now coming up, so they will have to fight for that. But, yeah. Quest is completed for Diablo. It was also an important one. They don't really want to battle the opponent if they don't have that as a tool. The only one that honestly sucks a little bit at using his trade so far has been Bad Benny. I mean, absolutely huge lost opportunity for him. Hasn't fallen once. It's the only one in the entire game that hasn't died yet, so no trade usage from Tyrael whatsoever. Trade has not been activated. Maybe now he finds some use for it on the Shrine. But it is the red team that has initially the upper hand here and gets a very quick lead on it. Scorch! Oof. He was nearly hit there. They can flank on Malfurion. That's the dream, essentially. Arrow is already out. There's the Shockwave connecting with 2, 3, but the bunker is immediately up on the map. And Tyrael can, of course, try and section them off a little bit. 21 to 13 stacks now. And the blue team has taken control, but the red team is starting to get ready to bring this back. Carrigan moving in, gets the Chrysalis out, maybe a little bit too soon, expecting a play from Blaze in particular. Gets the combo out, then again. They're making a move, and Hanzo in the back gets murdered by Vala as they're targeting Diablo next. And Nagrom gets barely saved by Malfurion, but still alive. Carrigan, though, trying to rush away, gets a combo stun off, but it's just not enough. Gets tripled and taken down. Carrigan gone, Diablo about to get murdered. Dynouh with the damage here. And this is total disaster right now for the red team. They're losing too much. Malfurion is gone as well. And that's the end of Hogger. Full 5-man wipe. The catapults are already dropping the shield on the core itself. Nagrom respawned, but they can easily end the game, of course, now. And that's the lead in this grand final series for the blue team, Team Dynouh, taking the victory on Infernal Shrines against Team Disciple. Well done. Nicely played by them, and a well-deserved lead in the best of 7 series as we are moving straight to game number 2. We're going to head straight into game number 2, but before we do, once again guys, if you enjoy the coverage on the channel here, if you enjoy the match, please like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. It also helps to boost the game to an even wider audience. And of course, it helps to get people back into Heroes of the Storm as the algorithm recommends the videos to people that were interested in Heroes of the Storm in the past. So again, before I continue, if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Appreciate it. And with that, we're heading straight into the second map of the series. Game number 2. We're going to Alderac Pass now. Map has been chosen by Team Dynouh. So, with Dynouh's team in the lead right now, thanks to the aggression that they showcased up at the top lane, we have them pulling ahead a little bit, and Team Disciple will obviously see what they are going to be able to do in order to try and bring this back right now. They did actually a really great job in a lot of situations during the game. The problem that they really had was once that they lost the momentum through that fight at the top lane, things started to fall apart massively. I like the Zeratul ban, by the way. Ubi played Zeratul, not on Alderac Pass, but he played it once in the previous series, and I believe it was Sky Temple, and he destroyed. He absolutely destroyed. It was such a pleasure to watch him play Zeratul there. It was incredible. So it was really, really cool. If you haven't seen that yet, I can only recommend that you check out the VOD of the previous series, the Losers Bracket Final, and have a look at the Sky Temple game, because, yeah, that's the reason why we now see that Zeratul ban. He also played it a few times in, I believe, the Round Robin stage on Alderac Pass, but we're starting things off with Scorch now on Brightwing. So Scorch he's not dipping into Malfurion in every single game, but still obviously one of the most played ones here. With Hogger banned, I guess we're going to get the Haka on the side lane now. Blaze taken for Team Dynouh, and we get Junkrat for them as well. But yeah, it would surprise me if we're going to get anything but the Haka here. So far the tournament has really evolved around 3 side laners. Hogger, Dehaka, and Blaze. Now you could obviously also go into a few alternatives here. We've seen Urel, but she was more added as a third. Anubarak comes in, so they're actually prioritizing Anubarak, trying to maybe sneak the objective a bit, which is nice. But yeah, normally that doesn't really happen all that often anymore, simply because players are paying attention to where Anubarak positions himself, and if he gets close to the camps, they're normally sending somebody his way to prevent him cheesing the prisoner camp. Now, we got Malthael banned out. Yeah, I mean, if you engage hard and then try to finish that off with last rites, it would also make sense. Normally we would see that with a triple front line. And then over on the red team, the final ban is up against Falstad. They might still pick Dehaka as a side laner, and then they would have Brightwing plus Dehaka. But even if they don't, just denying a global to the opponent is already working out, of course. Now, the next couple of picks here for the blue team are also going to be a bit crucial. I'm looking at Kyo and I'm like, okay, are we going to get Thrall again? And I think the chances are good that this actually happens. Rhaegar, it's going to be Thrall once more, isn't it? It really feels like they just... yeah. They just dedicated Kyo to Thrall. It's like, dude, you're demoted. Thrall is all you're going to get this tournament. But here comes Blaze plus Tyrael, so the double layer of defense if they decide to once again go into Sanctification. Rhaegar for that quick and massive burst heal, as on the other side we want to know what the side laner is. And, well, it's Leoric. Leoric Urel. They played Urel before, as I said. That was mostly to interrupt the opponent's stun comp. That worked extremely well against Team Lopaka when they were going for some variant taunt combo with Kerrigan, which absolutely did not do anything because of how Disciple shut them down with Urel the entire time and how quickly they lost control of the game. But now we get no Dehaka for once. So Leo, Urel, and Anubarak as the front, as Kua is deciding what he wants to pick. And it is Genji. Okay, he finally gets a different hero, but Thrall. Team Disciple against Team Dynouh, everybody. Map number 2 in the best of 7 series in the grand final. Let's go. Game number 2. It is Dynouh's team that has taken the lead in the series. Over on the left side, we have right now Cure on Genji. We got Dynouh on Junkrat. Copenhagen is playing Blaze. Bad Benny, with the Ardent Restoration once again with Tyrael, and then Captain Rex on Rhaegar. Over on the right side of the map, Morenas on Hanzo. We got Ubi on Leoric. Scorch is playing Brightwing with a Hyper Shift on level 1. Disciple on Yrel. Kind of curious if we're going to get the Sacred Ground again on level 10. And then we got Nagrom on Anubarak. I gotta admit that Sacred Ground is actually something that is kind of fun. It's a little bit more fun simply because the cooldown is a bit shorter, so you see it used more often. And it is kind of entertaining. Spray game is on point, as we're already seeing here. Anubarak will later on try to cheese the objective a couple of times. If he gets a chance to move in and spawn a few beetles, then that would obviously be quite nice already. And for now, play is just starting to slowly make his way down to the bottom of the map, so they're starting to set the lanes up. And up at the top we get Leoric, who plays it off against Cure. Now, Scorch, careful, yeah. Brightwing is getting attacked a little bit and has to be cautious. But down at the bottom of the map, all about Blaze right now. And the rotation from Anubarak, who quickly decides that's a dumb idea to go towards the middle. Wants to go away, apparently still off cooldown, dives out way too late and gets killed as a result. Nice. Alright, so, yep, that's the problem right there. So, in this case now, we have Anubarak killed quickly. He must have still been on cooldown on Borrow Charge and have used that a second ago to just try and make a play for Blaze himself. So without that cooldown ready, it was an issue. The grab on the camp on the right side gets interrupted a bit by Cure, who's basically just trying to annoy them as much as he possibly can, and thus far he's doing a decent job on it. All the way up at the top, Disciple is now getting attacked and is also starting to move his way back out of this. Cure, yeah, attack 2. Careful, and Disciple is slowly moving back out, as well as down at the bottom of the map we now have Morena still in action. Yeah, it's a nice start into the game. There's a lot of action happening all over the map on all 3 lanes basically. Game number 1 was already great and us off to a good start. So let's see if this is gonna get a bit more spicy in the middle now that the entire blue team has started to gather up to try and take some of the structures out. They go for Genji, Hanzo, and they take Hanzo out. The other brother. So, yeah, Genji part of the solution. Actually, they're both problem and solution at the same time, I suppose. Now, the wall destroyed. Hanzo taken out. And early game momentum for Team Dynouh. Coming off that win has definitely done quite a bit for them. So, yeah, good stuff. By now, Benny is getting attacked again. Alright. Nagrom jumping out there. And here comes again the attack against Tyrael. Even with a couple of tower shots thrown in for good measure. But he's going to be able to move away from this. Or is he? Because Benny is actually starting to drop a lot lower than I expected him to. But has the mobility to move away. And that was definitely needed. Ubi at the top is trying to take out the trash here. The janitor is starting to slowly clean things up and takes the minions out. And Anubarak has now started to cheese the objective up a little bit. Spawns a couple of beetles, distracts the footman here, and gets some extra points for the team. And it's not too bad. 10 seconds towards the progress. Gets a little bit more even. Yeah, Yrel jumps out, and I don't think they can get the objective that easily, but that is some decent free progress towards a potential first set of raiders that they just got. They're still, of course, also waiting for their first kill here. With level 4 talents, we got the Aegis of Light again, which, of course, can help you a lot with survivability. And Junkrat is going for the Dirty Trickster on level 7. Topside pressure against that fort, and we're in the middle. With the wall destroyed, that mid lane camp can do wonders here if taken reliably. But Benny again, stunned and poorly, but the jet propulsion fully baited in, and Hanzo is again in trouble. Tyrael jumps on him, Brightwing dies first. Now they go for Hanzo, and he gets killed too. They're not done yet though. Rhaegar, he's the one that finds himself in trouble, but turns it on Anubarak. And Nagrom is dead too. Disciple wants to at least get 1 kill, but Rhaegar makes it. Leo is dead, and it's a full 5-man team wipe. The entire team gets destroyed, and this is just disastrous for Team Disciple. It's more about the experience than anything else, but also the objective that gets taken here. But they all try to clean house, come in, get a few kills. and now everybody has died. 7 kills to 0. And the progress on the objective is also pretty impactful. Hanzo, low, has to move away here. Got saved by the rest of the team rotating in and helping him out, or that would have been a complete disaster here. But, well, there's a level 10 around the corner for the blue team, and that makes matters worse, because the objective alone is already going to be a problem for them. But once that we have level 10 abilities, which should actually happen just with that push, they could lose so much here. Depending on how this now goes for the blue team, they could walk away with multiple forts destroyed already this early in the game, and that is not typical for Albert Cast. Judgment this time. They can dive mega easily into the backline now with Genji plus Tyrael. And finally, love it, the Rocket Ride. Rocket Ride for Dynouh's Junkrat. That can be tons of fun. Also explains the dirty tricks a little bit more. But there's level 10, and now let's see how they're gonna make that happen. Down at the bottom of the map, the red team wants to have no part in this and essentially just says, yeah, take the fort, we don't care. We're not gonna die down here, you can have this one for free. It's still a 2-level advantage, but now we're having Junkrat already moving towards the middle, and he's gonna get ready for this. Throws a couple of grenades out and already shows them where they are positioned here. But I'm just waiting for Tyrael to make his approach. And Tyrael is already sniffing that out. Sees some targets. They go for an Uberrock maybe. Oh, he missed! And Rhaegar dies. Rocket Ride misses as well. And yeah, that didn't work out whatsoever. The arrow doesn't connect either. They're saving all of the really good hits for next game, apparently. That's true for the arrows. It's also true for the Rocket Ride, apparently. But yeah, so that was a massive fail. They were obviously attempting to already tee this up and then make a play out of it. But it just didn't do anything. Rhaegar died essentially immediately. Then the Rocket Ride missed. There was never a Judgment that could have helped them there. But of course, if they get Judgment, Rocket Ride, and X-Strike connected on the same target, you can pretty much blow anybody up there. We have also one question answered that we talked about a bit earlier. It is indeed Sacred Ground for Yrel. It's the exact same build that Disciple played in the previous series when he used Yrel. So now they can make a move here. But he's currently... Cooldown just used it. We have now 7 kills to 2, so at least got something. But can the team take that point? Genji is gone. Disciple's team has a shot here. They have a chance, but they're starting to drop a little bit low. But with Genji gone, they need kills and need them quickly. And they are able to take Leoric down. The blue team steals the boss. They are able to claim it. And now they come in. Rocket Ride is ready and could be used. Judgment and the Rocket Ride on Yrel. Wasn't even needed for Uberrock. He was already dead at the time. And they are pushing this further and further and further. Huge steal on the boss. And a really great play there. Even with Junkrat just booping everybody around, it was still quite the fight for Team Dynouh to get access to it and get full control, but they were able to pull it off. Now we have the defense at the bottom of the map against the boss itself, and the objective is already up again. Leading experience, still 1.5 levels. And when we're just talking about damage, Junkrat is already sitting at 26,000. Hanzo is at 30,000. They go for the boss at the top. Yrel hasn't sniffed that out yet. I guess they know. There's too many heroes missing. They must know. And, well, that's boss number 2. They're also trying to go for Disciple. Okay. They uses the Holy Ground. Sacred Ground. And an Uberrock was close by, so could have helped out if there really was a need for it. You can always hit that quick cocoon if you need to save an ally. But now they're trying to go for the next objective. So the momentum that we have in the hands of Team Dynouh is still pretty nice. They lost a few heroes, obviously, earlier, and that was a bit of a problem for at least some time. But right now, they are again 1.5 levels ahead, and with the boss pushing at the top, them going for the objective, they apply big pressure, and they really make it difficult for Team Disciple to get a foothold in this game. So they pull a bit ahead here. The interrupts are now coming, on the other hand. But there's the fight. Yep, Hanzo again with the arrow. Sacred Ground, and Rhaegar is dead again without using his ult, as Copenhagen is about to escape, but nope. Hanzo comes in and takes him down, even with the Judgment play that we see from Tyrael. That's still a kill, and it's more than that. Hanzo with a big triple kill here. Huge triple kill from Hanzo. Another massive play, and that was amazing. That was exactly what slowly brought them back into the game here. So currently what we have is, yeah, 9 kills to 7, but look at this. Just lining them up one after another. Now they can go for the objective. The gap in experience has already vanished completely. Fully gone. So Urel is sitting down at the bottom of the map now. Big impact from her. The Khaldor Peacekeeper now as well on level 13. And yeah, they might get the objective here. It's going to be a 5 versus 5 on the map again. They'll probably just try to interrupt them as best as they can. And the blue team is letting it happen. Team Dynouh lets this one happen. They're saying, alright, get the raiders, it's fine. They weren't willing to engage into that battle immediately. So Brightwing has just to move out. 16 will be ready. But, yep, level 16 talents are now starting to kick in just a moment. That might help them with the defense. So it's a bit of a silver lining, at least, for this particular move. Final cut is now ready. Bound by Law is in 2, and Junkrat went in with the Endless Nades. Anubarak! The only thing that Anubarak has is Endless Pain, as he gets bullied at the front line over and over again. Urel now with Templar's Verdict, and Anubarak with the Epic Enter, so that he can epically enter the opponent's team and stun all of them out here. I'm still wondering when they're finally going to fix that typo. That space has been missing there for years, I tell you. So, Anubarak, well, he's not epically entering anything right now. He's getting judged, and he's getting hit by Junkrat and murdered. So, yep, there's the combo right there. And I don't know what Rhaegar is doing, but he's getting targeted time and time again by Team Disciple, and for good reason, because they're just farming him. So Rhaegar is dead again. Now they go for Blaze, who's also dead. The red team, by the way, talking about dying, they're mega low here. If anybody can come in and just do a bit of damage and get some resets here, Cure, for example, they could be in a position where they can just clean the entire team out. Tyrael is moving out. Leo wants the swing, the drain, and he gets the kill. Cure somehow escapes before he gets taken out too. Disciple is still moving in. Cure is on the run. Junker is also moving away here. And they're gonna be able to get out or not? Well, they get away. But the cavalry or the raiders have now all been defeated. The fort at the top in the bot lane have completely been destroyed. And in the middle of the map, they have the fort also pretty low. But it's now 10 kills to 11. So the early game was pretty fantastic for Team Dynouh, but now Team Disciple is not only back, they are just doing a stellar job in a lot of these fights. The team fights are crazy though. I mean, so much back and forth. Half the time, it just feels like a team that is winning a fight could lose it a second later if one or two of the key heroes get destroyed, and essentially everybody is just getting out with low to no hit points. Short distance arrow from Khaldor as he's trying to lock down Cure here. And considering how many big points Team Dynouh had, I mean, they had 2 bosses already. And they're not any more ahead in that game, not by any stretch of the imagination. But it seems like if the idea really was to get the Junkrat combo with Judgment going, that they're not doing a great job executing this properly. Once again, there comes the hit. And to be fair, Brightwing nearly died. But if they really want to combo this, then they have to communicate this better. We have too many engages where either Tyrael uses Judgment and there is no Rocket Ride afterwards, or where Rocket Ride gets used and nobody is able to stun anybody. Blaze can also use Jet Propulsion, for example, but very little of that is happening here. So, yeah, by now we have the boss at the bottom about to be claimed by Team Disciple, and at the top lane it's the red team that moved in and is trying to do the same thing right there. 57,000 damage for Hanzo, 52,000 for Junkrat. Looking at level 20 talent soon, and damn, they're even coming in up here trying to delay them. Sacred Ground again. I mean, to be fair to Disciple, he's been taking full advantage of that ability and has done a lot of work with it. Down at the bottom of the map now, Leo, before he goes out, wants to do some decent damage and escort some of those minions in so that he can do damage before the boss even hits the keep itself. You want to, of course, remove those armor shields from the core. But, yeah, they have, again, the lead on the objective, and that's partly also because they have level 20 talents. Arrow! Yeah, but Morenas, I mean, that is a bit optimistic that they can follow it up with anything here. So that defense is more or less automatic. I don't think that the keep is going to lose too many hit points here. This one dropped 30%. And it seems like the objective could still be fought for, at least technically, if they really make a play right there. But so far, that's not a thing. We got the Angel of Justice. And the Raiders, are they going to be taken, or is Benny trying to intercept this now? 7 more seconds. They should have this. I mean, for sure. Should be an easy one. So, right there's the Entomb, buried alive. And bye-bye, Tyrael. Tyrael is gone. They try and get some value out of Junkrat. And they do get some, but it's not nearly enough. And the follow-up kill after Tyrael died on Genji is working perfectly for them. Now the fort in the middle is about to get dropped, even with the Raiders now moving in. That's not going to change. But at the bottom of the map, they're already going for an easy drop on that keep before the Raiders have even arrived. So are they going to try and go for the core with 2 armor shields remaining? If they get a kill here, they might be able to pull it off, but still a bit of a stretch, I think. Ancestral is doing well, but seems like they're willing to risk it. 1 armor shield removed. That's all that there is. That could be a problem. Defense, there's no way. Not with Tyrael now back too. They get the Entomb again, buried alive. Blaze, bunkers up. There's no way they can end the game here like this. I do not see that happening. The red team is already struggling to stay alive. There's absolutely no chance. Leo's a bit low and might sacrifice himself here for the team. But as long as they're pinning them down at the core defense, at least the rest of the lanes is getting value. But Leo is now gone, and yeah, they have to let this one slide. So it's all about trying to take down additional keeps, and maybe up at the top lane they can pull that one off. So far it's actually looking good. So yeah, they save it, and in the middle the red team tries to re-engage, but they're also a tad too late here. They could have taken multiple of these keeps out, and they haven't. So bit of a missed opportunity, I think. And I'm honestly a bit surprised by that call. I have not seen a whole lot of games end on Alderac Pass with the core still holding 2 armor shields. We've seen some, but very rarely. But Dynouh's dead again. Junkrat got junked. Here's the arrow, and they're able to get another kill on Rhaegar. Rhaegar has been absolutely murdered this game. This is our kill number 4 on Rhaegar. It honestly feels like way more than that. But now they can go for those keeps for sure, and maybe even go for the core too. So off we go. They come in for Blaze. He has the bunker up in 1 more second. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a second. He's dead. So is that keep. And this should now be game. With only 2 survivors and only 1 armor shield remaining, that is highly unlikely that they can stop this. I mean, obviously they're trying. Cure's coming in as best as he can, but Benny's using his trade again on Tyrael, aka he died once again. And this is going to be it. 17 kills to 12. What a comeback here by Team Disciple. And Genji goes down to full 5-man team wipe. Nicely done, Team Disciple. Equalizing the series as we are headed for game number 3 of this best of 5. Well played. And a great victory for the red team on Alderac Pass. GG. Coming up next, we have the 3rd map of the series. If you guys enjoy the content, also consider to head over to patreon.com/Khaldor. Support our efforts to keep the Heroes of the Storm esports scene alive there. It's the best way to support the channel. Huge shout out to everybody that is already a supporter. You guys are really helping to keep this alive, and you help us to host event after event for the game here. Especially after Blizzard abandoning this already 7 years ago. It's absolutely fantastic that we're still able to do this here. So big shout out to all of the supporters. And again, if you enjoy the coverage, if you would like to support us, head over there and check it out. Thanks a lot. Enjoy the next game. Game number 3. Series is tied, and we're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. So Team Disciple with a nice comeback on the previous map. So far, so good. Insta ban on Orphea. The Orphea respect ban. It's kind of funny to me because in the round robin, when Team Disciple played against Team Dynouh, Disciple played first with Orphea and won the game, and then Dynouh tried it and got kind of wrecked. Played a great Orphea game, don't get me wrong, but they lost it. And then afterwards, the Orphea bans started to come in on their end. So, yeah, it was pretty fun. And now we have Gul'dan banned out, Bala banned out. So a lot of damage dealers are getting immediately addressed here. But as we're heading into Tomb, first pick for Team Dynouh. And let's see what they go for Malfurion. So, grant us strength. Yeah, Malfurion needs a little bit of strength. strength enough to keep himself upright and hold that staff, because he has the jitters for sure. That guy is way too old. I mean, damn. So, Blaze is up. Could still go for Blaze here. Brightwing was so far the healer of choice for Team Disciple whenever they couldn't get Malfurion, and sometimes even when they had the chance to grab him. Blaze and Hanzo. Yeah, can't forget about Hanzo, of course. Hanzo by now the most played damage dealer in the game. In this tournament, sorry. So, right now we got two of their favorites again. A lot of the teams have heavily contributed. I mean, if you're in the grand final, obviously, you played more games than anybody else, essentially. And they contributed heavily to the stats that we have for the heroes in the tournaments at this point. But it's kind of funny to also see that they are just going down that list. Disciples team in particular, Blaze, Ortehaka, Hanzo. They have a few heroes that deviate away from this, Urel being one of them, as we've seen previously. Now it's actually Copenhagen that locks her in. But I personally like a lot how Disciple plays this, you know, with Urel and Sacred Ground here. And every single time that he so far has played that hero and has tried to use her, they won the game. So they did really well controlling some space with it. But yeah, at this point, Urel gets taken by Team Dynouh, which is kind of funny because we haven't seen a whole lot of Urel throughout the entire tournament, and now all of a sudden in the playoffs, you know, she starts to become a pretty consistent pick for them here. They're targeting Nagrom now. Nagrom has been playing a lot of Johanna and has completed Subdue several times, which was a huge factor of why they won games where she was taken. But now Team Dynouh takes her away and then they ban out Diablo. So really trying to force Nagrom into a bit of a different playstyle. He played an Uberak on the last map, but that was also a lot because it was all direct pass and you can go and cheese the objective with an Uberak, of course. Right now, could still go Garrosh here, and they do. Garrosh plus Brightwing. So, as I said before, big pick for Scourge whenever he doesn't go for Malfurion. Brightwing is probably his second most played support and here during the Captain's Clash. And over on the blue team, what are the final two picks? For Cure and for Dynouh. Dynouh in particular. I want to see what the damage is. That Junkrat play did not work out for him on the last one. So now they go Jaina and Falstad. We get the bird and Jaina. Lady Frost is saying hello to. Yeah, one of the teams is now going to take the lead here. Big best of 7 series, of course. But who takes the next step towards tournament victory? Disciple, his Ophia is banned. He played a lot of Gul'dan too. That's banned too, as well. Could still see, I mean, if you don't go for a mage, you could still go Cassia, but we have Chromie up, and so Disciple decides that he locks in Chromie. Tumul, Spider Queen, Team Dynouh against Team Disciple. Everybody, the best of 7 series here at the grand final of the Captain's Clash Europe continues. Dynouh's team with Cure on Falstad now, as we're heading into Tomb of the Spider Queen. We have Captain Rex on Malfurion, Bad Benny on Johanna, Dynouh with a Frostbite as the baseline and Fingers of Frost as the level 1 talent. He's playing Jaina for the team. Copenhagen on Urel. Bit of a different approach than what we're seeing from Disciple. Him going for Dauntless on level 1. The red team decided to swap some of the heroes around. Disciple, for example, is now playing Hanzo, and they used Chromie for Morenas. We got Ubi and Blaze. Nagrom on his Snaps account with Garrosh, and then Scourge playing Brightwing in that game. Really nice victory for them on the last map. Now that we are in Game 3, the question, of course, remains who takes the lead in the Grand Final Series. Who's able to lock in the W here. I mean, for now, we're having a bit of a brawl going on in the middle of the map. Still a bit of a poke here also happening as Disciple from the side is starting to shut Urel down a little bit. 2 turning points are already on. So, yep, let's get those gems. And with Jojo, you already have a fantastic tool to just group everybody up for Jaina. So Jaina with an easy rotation can very, very quickly burn a wave down after the Condemn comes through. Benny just easily moving in there, And as long as Jaina just stays away from Chromie, they're going to be fine. You get even the extra damage against heroes, as Nagrom is looking to see if he can maybe get a grab of somebody and throw them back in, but it's not really enough yet. So down at the bottom of the map, we now have a 2 versus 2 going on. Falset and Yrel against Hanzo and Blaze. And in the middle, the attack against Joanna. Jojo also with Laws of Hope. Benny has been showing this a few times already. And they are now able to... I mean, again, you get self-sustain, obviously, to the talent, so that's always kind of nice. And whenever Benny picked a Globe talent in the first place, the one thing that really stands out is that he is really diligent about picking those Globes up, something that he definitely needs to do. And if you continue to do that throughout the entire game here, you will get a lot of self-sustain and won't rely that heavily on, let's say, Malfurion to keep you alive in those big battles. But the push through the middle of the map is now already happening. The blue team was a bit faster on grabbing their camp, so now they're starting to take a couple of those towers down a notch. The Hand of Freedom for Yrel. So pretty standard build right now for Copenhagen. Again, the style that we're seeing from Disciple whenever he plays Yrel is a little bit different and really works out quite nicely. So, level 4 talents now ready for both of them. Not really a lot of plays yet from Garrosh. We're gonna get them eventually, but not a lot of opportunities created yet. Instead, Chromie gets chased. They want to go for Jaina. Yeah, but it's instead Nagrom that, guys, oh my god. What is this? The long throw on ragdolls, or what's happening? That was a massive one. That thing got catapulted across the map. That's a statement right there. Intimidates the opponent, you know? It would be kind of fun if there were some kind of taunt animations that you know that you can only execute on ragdolls. Let's say, for example, you kill a hero and then you have like a teabag animation that you can use. Or if you want to go real dark, then you can burn the body. Intimidate your opponent. Maybe it locks you down for like a second or two, so you have to be a little bit cocky and be super sure of yourself when you go for it. But that would be kind of funny. You just like burn the body all of a sudden, or you just like kicking it around a little bit from left to right. You teabag it, whatever it is, would be kind of amusing. Nagrom dies again, talking about dead bodies, so that's the second time that Garrosh has now been destroyed. And he's not the only one. Brightwing is dead, and... Oh! Ho, ho, ho! Disciple gets his butt moonfired by Malfurion, and that is 4 kills to 0. Yeah, talk about a shitty start. Damn. So first was Brightwing that fell, then Disciple jumps out, and then boom! Malfurion comes in, gets that kill, just as Hanzo thought, right boys, I made it, I'm safe. That is a level lead nearly, and now then potentially some real trouble. Depends a little bit on how much damage those web weavers are not going to do too. Benny, bit low. Hanzo, yeah, he got a bit cheeky there, I like it. He wanted to get that kill. Misses out on it, but A for effort for sure. So Disciple trying to do his best here. He's a bit low now and needs to be mega careful with his own defense. If he goes a bit too close to the blue team, has a chance that he's going to be hit hard as someone engages onto him. Talking about engaging, down at the bottom of the map, they went for Copenhagen on his Yrel. But that's damage on the fort. And it's not only the bot lane that has suffered some damage there, the top as well. Falset is now flying in. He's trying to help them out to damage this even further. So Cure is currently doing his thing here. And they even damaged the fort in the middle of the map significantly. So that's now 2 forts, 3 forts that have taken damage. Oh, if they can get a few more kills, that would be amazing. But Copenhagen, he gets hit hard and taken down. And the same is true for Jaina. So that's a kill against Yrel and against Jaina, 2 down. So Team Disciple finally starting to pick up a couple of kills. They didn't have a single kill up to now, but that double kill certainly helped them. The problem is that the fort at the top lane got actually destroyed, so there was still enough minions, winions, and objective spawns over to take that one out, and that is a bit of a problem. It's a very early lead for Team Dynouh on structures, and a big one at that. It's not only that one that they got, but also the 2 other forts that are low. They get the web weavers now. The problem is they went a bit too far trying to steal that camp, so now a chance that Nagrom dies. In trouble for sure, and he's definitely gonna be dead. There's no way he gets out. Oh my god. Seriously? That Benny instead gets stunned and killed? You gotta be kidding me. The comeback kings. Seriously. 2 kills and Nagrom is still alive. That is ridiculous. That's absolutely laughable. I mean, how? So now they can push with it, but this is insane. I mean, when he entered the bunker, he was essentially dead already. When he entered the bunker, if he fell down those bunker stairs, he would have died and broken his neck. And now what happens instead is that we get the kills for the red team. Blue team loses multiple heroes, and now they're losing structures, of course, too. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Bottom fort is gone. Up at the top, they're pushing this out, too. They have taken the lead in experience now, of course. Well, but Disciple dies. He hoped to get the trade on Falstad, and that didn't happen. We still got 50 gems for Team Disciple, though. Tons and tons of gems for Team Dynouh were lost in that last encounter. So now that is a massive, massive advantage in the gem count for the red team. And the only question is really, can they A, turn them in and secure them? And B, if they're able to, are they able to capitalize properly on another set of web weavers? Because for now, we have a bit of a cheeky play for the boss that is going to work out for them. Yep, they're going to get this one. Boss is going to be claimed. Falstad could always use the gust if he had to, unless, of course, we have Garrosh coming with Indomitable or something. So a reaction is too late. And that is a freebie boss for Team Dynouh. This Grand Final series has been crazy so far. I mean, seriously crazy. The amount of back and forth action that we've now seen is just nuts. So many times you're just sitting there and you think like one team, okay, they are the favorites right now, and then just a second later, you're proven wrong. And this is just the full MO here. So 5 kills to 4. Yep, there's another kill. Dynouh! No, they save him! They save Jaina. Jaina's alive. Gus is getting used over here. Urel is still at the bottom of the map. So we have level 13 talents now for both teams. Another kill opportunity created by Nagrom as they're going for Benny though. But Benny is still totally fine here. Well, and as I say it, the arrow connects, and then the damage from Chromie, and all of a sudden it's a dead Johanna that we're talking about. Garrosh makes it out of the fight. Dynouh survived again, God knows how. Has also his ice block now, but they're turning it on Brightwing, who is able to jump back to Hanzo. But the fight not over by any means. It's just an endless chase that we're seeing as the two teams are brawling it out like crazy. Nagrom was hoping to get a bit closer to them and get a hit on one of the heroes. That didn't work out for them. So right now we have the turn-in nearly fully facilitated. Ubi gets the final gems connected. And off we go. The push for the 2 remaining forts. And they are both on the list now. They're definitely... it's possible to take both of them out here. 63 stacks for Falstad on his level 1. 23 stacks for the Laws of Hope for Johanna. Hanzo isn't done with his level 1 quest yet. He needs one more hit to complete that. Down at the bottom of the map, Urel trying to play this one out. 20 gems in Copenhagen. Gotta be super careful with this. Try to go for Falstad, but Cure gets out. Makes his defense a lot harder though. But they defended well in the middle of the map. Yeah. Now you want to get at least one fort in a situation like this. So they're trying at the top now. But decent zoning and defense from Bad Benny now. And that Web Weaver is gone. So they try to go for Benny and they can't get that kill. There's still a Web Weaver down at the bottom of the map, and Urel is now moving towards the top. So if they want to defend here, then they gotta hurry a little bit. But the towers have already taken care of it. So that Web Weaver wave did essentially nothing. And now they're about to lose Garrosh if they're not careful. Garrosh is at least in trouble, but gets to the bunker and is safe. It doesn't really change the fact, though, that Team Disciple hasn't been able to make a lot of headway with the objective. They pushed the lanes out a bit, but now they are at least applying additional pressure in the middle of the map in an attempt to get that fort. The wall at the bottom keep is still mostly intact, so that defense was strong. That was a good defense for Team Dynouh. 24,000 damage now. We got 40,000 damage for Hanzo. The blue team has enough for another turn in and getting the objective. But Team Disciple, yeah, not there yet. Not that far away either. Need 40 more gems. Sorry, 20. It's doable. Garrosh, though, yeah. Once again, on his way back out here. 26,000 damage for Falstad. Also really nice damage output from Jaina with all that burst that she brings. But there's the arrow, and it misses. There's a lot of arrow that went totally haywire over the course of the last couple of games. And I think this is also the third time in a row now that Hanzo gets played by Morenas in this series in particular. Oh my god, Jojo! And she's dead just as the blue team gets their turn in. Blue team gets a turn in, and they're still being chased here. They want to go for Dynouh. Chromie with the damage. Yep. But Garrosh is, for example, flanking in over here. Needs a heal on the other hand, and gets it. But, yep. Right now, they could still try and get a kill. But they're just not getting a hold of anybody. It's actually a crazy escape of the blue team. I really thought that they would lose another hero. That looked for a long time like one of them is going to get caught, but they played this quite well. Falstad is trying to push at the top a bit further. The fort's obviously already gone, so we're talking keep at this point. And over in the middle of the map, yeah, the Web Weaver's also defeated. We got level 16 talents now for both. And structurally, they're drawing closer and closer to each other. I guess this one's gonna fall. Don't think you can defend that. Yeah. But Team Dynouh, again, slowly pulling a bit ahead here. Structurally, for sure. Not by much, but again, it still matters. You know, 13.5 minutes into the game. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Garrosh is gone. Nice arrow on Jaina. It just comes a bit too late. Garrosh is already eliminated. And so is the fort. Yep, that one gets taken out. Get another kill here, maybe. Urels is low again. And yeah, that's Malfurion just defending here. Really just totally different style also from Urel than what we've seen earlier. Has the Ardent Defender on level 10, of course, over the Sacred Ground that we've seen from Disciple a couple of times. But now it's 6 kills to 6, and both teams are about to hit level 18. But of course, on top of that, we're now also looking at a situation in which with that boss at the top lane, that keep is again being threatened, and that was already a bit of a problem earlier on. Now, if they can turn all of those gems in, they might be able to get a full turn in and make the boss defense a bit easier, but I highly doubt it. They're only 4 short, but they need to get those 4 first and then turn them in too. It's more that they wanted to make sure that they have those saved up, so that even if they lose a couple of heroes in the next fight, that they still have that ticket back into the game by simply delivering another 6 gems, which is always able or always easy to grab. It's a little bit sad that they only have 1 minion there surviving, or it could have been the end of that fort. But there's siege giants at the bottom of the map now too, as Blaze was able to take the camp. He needs to head back though, so help everybody out here. Great arrow! Fantastic arrow! And still no kill against Falstad. Ridiculous! Even with that arrow, they weren't able to take Falstad out, so the defense is ongoing. But I just can't believe that they couldn't even kill the birdie. It was a triple stun, and Falstad lost so much of his HP within a second. There's just nobody there to completely drop him and take him out. So now the siege giants at the bottom have been defeated. The turn-in is happening from Morenas alone, though. So, yeah, that's the turn-in right there. And down at the bottom of the map, Cure will, as the global, hold this for as long as he can to get the team extra experience and make sure that they're not getting pressured too much. There's only 1 fort standing for the blue team, and this is also going to be taken out, probably without the help of the Web Weavers. They could at least easily do that. As down at the bottom of the map, the blue team is just gathering up right now. They also hold a lot of their gems still. So Copenhagen has 13, for example. But Web Weavers are now coming in and they're escorting them through the top lane, at least initially. It's all about getting the experience for level 20, of course, now as well. If you get that earlier than your opponent, you have a great shot at being a bit more aggressive. And they are moving in for that wall in the middle. Lots of really nice and easy damage done here. And they should hit level 20 around the same time. So Urel is defending the top lane. He has the level 20 talents. We get Bullseye first. Fortified Bunker. And, well, Team Dynouh is trailing slightly, but you can already see that the red team is starting to fall back here. Not willing to engage too aggressively, but maybe willing to play for that camp, which is going to be checked out by the opponent in a moment. And there's Urel moving in. They're trying to hold this. They're going to commit to this one. So Gust is used right away. They gust them out. And the fight is still not necessarily over here, as they go for the hit with Hanzo, and then the kill against Malfurion. That was an important one. The healer gone means no sustain. Have fun staying in their base a little bit longer and twiddling your thumbs. Especially since Team Disciple is clearly trying to siege up on that keep and slowly take it out. Chromie though, yeah, she is dead, isn't she? Bye-bye. Yep, definitely down. Chromie is gone, and well, that is an easy defense right there. Before Chromie died, this was awesome, but Team Disciple losing one of their biggest heroes there. And a great job, obviously, by Team Dynouh. I mean, getting that kill here was quite impactful. And now 18 minutes into the game, and we have both of the teams down to their keeps. It's the only one that is still standing for the two of them. And I have no idea who's going to take it. I mean, it's level 20 versus 27 kills to 7, same amount of structures. They're so evenly matched, it's absolutely crazy. 43 stacks now for Johanna, by the way. I gotta say, Bad Benny has a lot here. So, at this point, you have an absolutely enormous amount of heal. That's 40, I mean, it's nearly at 50%. We're gonna get there eventually if he continues at that pace. So you have a huge chunk of HP that you can quickly recover with the press of the button, not even needing Malfurion for that. So Benny and his survivability is increasing as the game continues, and yep, there's already some good news for them over there. More, they have the level 1 stack for Falstad, who's now sitting at 109. Arrow, nice, and that's a kill. Might be a double as they go for Malfurion. Yep, they got that taunt through, and that is Jaina and Malfurion both gone. The defense against the blue team's Web Weavers now mega easy. That arrow was on point, absolutely on point, and obviously set up really well by Garrosh too. So the two of them working in tandem here to create a double kill that allows them to go for one of the easiest Web Weaver defenses that we've seen in quite some time. Fantastic play here. Blaze is defending at the bottom of the map. Just talking about raw numbers, 73,000 damage for Hanzo. 68,000 for Chromie, just to name another example here. And then you look over to Falstad, and he is actually the only one on the blue team that hasn't died yet. For the opponent, it's Blaze. But here's the Web Weavers, and they go for the boss. Well, with Web Weavers, it's like they can turn in again. The defense has happened, so now they can go for the turn in. And they got 62. They want the boss, they're gonna get the boss, and they can technically also go for a turn in. So there's a chance that they are able to get the full turn in on this. All that they need is deliver what they have and gather up another 2, which they just done now at the top lane. So, yep, we're gonna get that full turn in. So, Web Weaver wave plus boss play is what we're getting now. And this should, at a minimum, eliminate the top side keep. The arrow hitting Falstad, and he gets hit by the bullseye. And damn, Cure needs to retreat quickly and ask for some heals from Malfurion. So, here's the Mighty Gust as they're creating a little bit of space. Like Copenhagen might get caught. Nope, it doesn't. But that keep is just a goner, especially when those Web Weavers are finally arriving. But even without it, it's going to take tons of damage. And I think Team Dynouh isn't even under the illusion that they can save this one. It's all about just trying to save your core. That's the big one. But still, that initial damage against Cure was also mega nice. That long distance arrow worked, and then we have Hanzo following up with Bullseye and even more damage. By now, the Web Weavers are still active, but there's not a lot that they can do at the top anymore. They get burned down very, very quickly. And it's just a question of whether or not the red team is still able to force a fight here in the middle, maybe take a hero down and then use the Web Weavers to take another keep apart. If, on the other hand, they're losing a few of their heroes, if the fight turns against them, then very quickly there will be a chance for Team Dynouh to travel to the top right and take a keep out there. So, still back and forth on this one. Once again, we have Chromie trying to get the damage connected here. Web Weaver is about to be defeated, which means we still have one at the bottom of the map, and Falstad jumping out as well. So this is the only lane where the blue team has not taken damage on a keep, and this is likely going to change right now. Not sure if it's going to fall, but now that Urel is gone, there's definitely a chance. Before that, I would have said they are going to settle for any kind of damage that they can do here. But with this, they are now dropping that structure 100%. And they can already poke in the middle if they want to try and take this one out too, or just go for the core in a 5 versus 4 situation. But mid lane it is. So they're coming in here, trying to take the keep out. And of course, once that you have lost every single structure with the exception of your core, you're usually dying a slow and painful death. And the only way that you can try and bring it back is by forcing a fight and then turning the game around on the momentum of that battle. But they're losing Jojo, that's a staggered death. They're losing Malfurion, and they're losing the game right here. The core is already dropping hit points after the shield got removed. Brightwing and Blaze are both dead, but it's a 5-man team wipe. As Team Disciple wins 2 games in a row and starts to take the lead in this best of 7 series at the grand final. Nicely done. They lock in a W on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And yeah, with Team Dynouh defeated on the 3rd map, they now have to have a little bit of work ahead of them in order to catch up again. GG. Garden of Terror, the 4th map in the best of 7 series, and Team Disciple has taken the lead on the last map. They won 2 in a row now. They lost map number 1. And then they locked in 2 wins in a row. So good for them. Especially since at the start it didn't really look all that great for them. So the series, all of the games that we've seen so far were pretty close. Always a back and forth where even towards the end of the game you don't really know who's winning, who's taking it. But now it will get, again, interesting. The entire series was already interesting. But when it comes to the draft, of course, the question is still, what is Team Dynouh going to ban out? They banned Ophia a couple of times. They could ban side laners. Here we go. Dehaka gets banned. Usually it's Dehaka, Blaze, and Hogger that we are fighting for. And right now that is obviously even more so the case because we are on Garden of Terror, so a bit of a different map, which slightly shifts priority of certain heroes, like Hogger a little bit. But with Tracer, they're already targeting Dynouh on the blue team side. Scourge will most... I mean, what I expect for supports is Brightwing, Malfurion, and Rhaegar. Those 3 will somehow make a big part of who's getting picked. I could see one of them banned, but if not, the other 2 get most likely taken. I would say that Captain Rex is going to try and go for Rhaegar again. Helps the Garden of Terror with the Lightning Shield as well. Now they banned Falstad out. I don't think I've seen Kyo play anything else but Falstad and Thrall. Mostly Thrall, a little bit of Falstad too. And apparently I was wrong. Brightwing is the first pick for the blue team, so no Rhaegar choice this time. Could still see Rhaegar, of course, for Team Disciple. Malfurion is also up and is another tool that Scorch could use again. But they've usually been very adamant about picking Blaze early. So Blaze Hanzo is one of their most common rotations when they have the 1-2. And there they are, Blaze and Hanzo. So they don't change that up at all. And they have been picking this essentially every single game. And Team Dynouh just looks at it and says like, well, we're fine with it. You can have it. You're strong with it, that's okay. It's a big part of your comp, but honestly, it's not as impactful that we would say we need to ban Hanzo out, for example. So they're looking at Morenas and his performance, and we had some fantastic plays. We had some plays that looked a little bit more iffy, but whatever. The blue team isn't impressed enough that they all of a sudden decide to ban Hanzo out. And again, there's a lot to ban. Ophia, for example. It's always the one of the most amusing things for me when I see comments that people post is oftentimes that, you know, they come in and they're like, oh my god, how did that hero made it through the draft? And the answer is simple. You can't ban them all. There's always one hero that, you know, makes it through that everybody wants to ban. Everybody has a key hero that they want to play. And yeah, you have only 3 bans at the end of the day. So that's the only thing that you can work with here. And again, a reminder, if you are watching this on YouTube right now, make sure that you hit the like button on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. We're providing coverage the entire time ever since Blizzard killed HGC, even before that. So if you appreciate that, if you want this to continue, it's the easiest way of what you can do. Just hit that like button, watch the video towards the end, and subscribe to the channel. Helps a lot for the algorithm to spread the love. We have tons of people that actually came back because they got videos randomly recommended in their YouTube feed and realized that the game is still going on and that we even have an esports scene still here. So, yeah, if you haven't done it yet, like and subscribe. There's our Malfurion pick, and we have Garrosh now as well. So, flip into a jet propulsion. He already did a great job with Garrosh on the last map. Now we have him again, and Diablo will have to play around there too. You can always push your way back out if you still have the cooldown up. There's Hogger, so that was to be expected. As I said before, it's always the Haka, Hogger, and Blaze that they're playing around. There are a couple of exceptions. We saw Leo and Urel played, I believe it was Aldrich Pass, but most of the time this is what it sent us around. And I was joking about Cure playing Thrall again, but well, here it is. It's either Falstad or Thrall. Those are the 2 heroes that Cure plays right now. That's basically it, and just nothing else. Whereas with Disciple on Garden, map number 4, Egos for Malthael, we have a triple front line right now, so the aspect of death is in play as well. Are they able to pull a little bit further ahead in the series, or is Dynouh now equalizing the score again with this team? We're going to find out on our 4th map in the best of 7 grand final of the Captain's Clash Europe, Garden of Terror. Game number 4. We're on the 4th map and we have Dynouh's team in blue with Dynouh himself, the captain with the agile dismount now on level 1. Cure is playing Thrall. We got Copenhagen on Hogger. Captain Rex is playing Brightwing and Bad Benny with Diablo. Over on the right side, we got Disciple on Malthael for, well, Team Disciple. Ubi on Blaze. Scotch is playing Malfurion. We got Morenas and Hanzo. And Nagrom is playing Garrosh. So let's go. Every single time that I see Bad Benny, especially after all of the Deadpool movies, I'm like, Bad Benny, good Benny, dead Benny. So, yeah. Deadpool movie, I mean, the first one was clearly the best, also because it was just like a complete break from what we've seen in regards to movies and also superhero movies before. I gotta admit that the last one with Wolverine was better than expected, but I also thought that Logan was a fantastic end to the entire Wolverine saga and storyline, so as long as they don't screw with it too much, but all of this multiverse crap is always annoying. It's nearly as annoying as Brightwing, but not quite as annoying, which is why I'm pretty happy that this is the first blood in the game, and now that they're following up with a kill on Cure, I gotta say that that double kill very quickly put a bit of a damper on the ambitions of the blue team to put another point onto the board here. Now, this is only early game shenanigans, so it's not too much of a problem, but it allows the red team to go very quickly for their own camps and maybe even invade some on the other side, so we'll see. And yeah, Bright being eliminated. Kill the fruit fly. Then again, Ubi is struggling a bit against Copenhagen down at the bottom of the map now. Bad Benny is still on his epic mount. I feel like Diablo should just be able to like fly or something in the battle. Like him using a mount seems a little bit undignified. I'm not quite sure why. But if he needs a mount, then it has to be something absolutely epic like the money pick. Anything else just looks a little bit silly on him. I mean, it is the Lord of Terror after all. Indomitable again. Thrall against Blaze down at the bottom of the map as Copenhagen at the top needs the assist from Brightwing. That's also a little bit embarrassing. I mean, think about if you're like a majestic... Okay, maybe Hogger's the wrong example, but if you're a majestic hero and they exist, and then you have a fruit fly that needs to help you, that's a little bit pathetic. So, yeah. Another strike against Brightwing, as if we needed another one. Disciple with Malthael is obviously also another hero that can do a real great job when we're talking about them going for camps. So just trying to take mercenary camps is always a nice and neat little one. We have currently in the middle of the map Malthael just slowly starting to play this one out too. But Disciple should be able to throw out quite a few last rites as the game continues, because you have a triple frontline now against you. And Brightwing is not really the best hero to deal with any of this. And you don't have Blaze in his bunker on the team either. So if he plays his cards right, he should be able to get a lot of last rites value here and really get that cooldown reduction going on level 10. Now, we have also Indomitable for Garrosh. We get Thrall with the Frostwolf pack. Cure hasn't had the best track record trying to complete that. Dynouh, good route. Definitely cost him a few hit points and forced him back here. Malthael now also with a touch of death on the other hand. Okay, let's wait for that level 10 ability. But with level 7 kicking in, Disciple is, curiously enough, very much left alone at the top lane. They're trying to go for Blaze down here, who is able to move away. For a second I thought this might be one of those iconic Warcraft 3 surrounds that we're gonna get. But none of that. So he is able to get away. The seed is up, but Cure gets a bit caught, and the root is just a tad too late or misplaced. However you want to look at it. So they could not get that kill. It got close though. It definitely did. For sure there was a moment where Cure was like, uh-oh, maybe I'm gone again, but he made it. They're invading the opponent's seat, and from the looks of it, they actually are going to be able to get it or not. No, this time it's Thrall's time to die again. So yeah, that was a much, much better hit on him. And the root from Scorch was absolutely on point, so they get the third kill in the game. 2 of those kills against Thrall. And still with the attempt to get the channel, and this time it works out for them, so they steal the opponent's seed, and that's big. If you can get this seed from the other team that is positioned more towards their forts, their fountains, and then even steal a camp away, that's fantastic. That extends the lead in experience now, and they're looking great here. And they can't even get the kill on Disciple, what the hell? They're not even able to pick that kill against Malthael. Now Brightwing is dead again. But I think, okay, finally, Hanzo gets killed, but they also get Hogger. The kill on Hanzo, that was important. Hanzo went in deep and very aggressive to try and get Brightwing, and then him escaping, that would have been the final, I mean, that would have been just crazy. Adding insult to injury, but so it made it out. Now Hanzo at least died, so that's the first kill, 1 kill to 5. Bit of damage done at the bottom of the map. And level 10 abilities are about to be ready for Team Disciple, and we get Last Rite. So Last Rite is in, and also Twilight Dream. Alright. Twilight Dream is also ready. Okay. I want to see some decent Last Rite stacks, though. I think if they're forcing team fights, they should be able to get quite a few stacks for that level 10. Just because there are not that many tools on the other team that can really deal with it. At least when we compare it to previous games where Malthael was played, where, for example, a bunker was up on Blaze that could just simply cleanse it out, or if you had some really big heals with Rhaegar getting a burst heal through, a shield from Medivh being provided, and all of these things. A lot of that is lacking right now. 2 seeds to 0, so that's another problem. We have Sundering, we got the Shockwave, so there's again a lot of stuns and CC also for the blue team side. Push at the top is costing Dynouh's team already the wall. So the towers are going down. They're sending everybody slowly up there. And, well, here comes the APOC play. X-Strike and the Twilight Dream. Where is that ult when you need it? Got interrupted apparently. Can still YOLO it out now. And doesn't. Yeah, not close enough. There it is. And that's a kill. Yeah, Brightwing was trying to help it out, but didn't really work. So that's the first 5 seconds of a cooldown reduction that already happened. So, yep, that was nice. Good for Disciple, and of course good for the team too. Not only did they get Genji, but they also eliminated Hogger. They pushed through the wall at the top, and now we have 7 kills, 2-1, with the first seed that could spawn Garden Terrors at the bottom of the map spawning. So Team Disciple has a chance to now also get the objective. And they are already ahead in this game. So this is a big one for them. Very likely they will hit level 13 talents in time for that fight. Well, I mean, the fight is starting up more or less now, and they get the experience in the middle, so there's level 13, which gives us inevitable end, which is going to be an important one, of course. If the blue team decides that they really want to fight this, there's a chance that Malthael is going to pick up an additional stack on his level 10 ability. They are going to interrupt wherever they can and delay this, but they don't want to be forced into an actual battle. And Benny needs to be careful too. He's fully stacked on his baseline, so that's good. A problem for Blaze. The channel has happened, and the Garden Terrors are coming through. Benny, oh, thundering, and Indominate was already used. Now they go for Benny, and bye-bye, he's gone.
And we say bye-bye.
So that is another stack. At least the quest for Thrall was completed, so he's done with his level 4. But that's a 10-second cooldown reduction already for Malthael, and we were very early in the game. So, yep, that is exactly what I expected when Malthael was picked, and what we talked about a few times now already. There's just not a lot of tools that can mitigate that once that we're there. But you can always kill the fucker, and he's gone. So, that's the end of Malthael. What about Scorch? No mana, no hit points, no problem. He just walks out of the fight. From the looks of it, and commits Sudoku into the tower range. Alright. Finds himself on the wrong side of the battle, and it's just like, you're not gonna get me. I'm rather gonna kill myself than let you take me down. My honor is intact. Or something like that. I made the voice a little bit too manly for Malfurion. I apologize. Did I call him Thrall for a second? I don't know. But the fort at the bottom of the map is nearly taken out, and at the top, this one is also gonna fall pretty quickly. But it helped the blue team to get back in kills, so and experience. So now that gap is not that big anymore. And the Garden Terrors, again, they did work. They nearly destroyed 2 of the forts, and they will fall eventually, sooner rather than later. But the gap is not that big between the teams any longer. Blaze is coming in and is really hoping to take this one out, but Dynouh is now just trying to stop him and saying like, nope, not on my watch. But as we have again another play being made for Thrall, Brightwing helps out, and they put Hanzo into a corner and drop him, and they also take down Garrosh. Maybe a bit over-eager. I like the aggression that we're getting from Team Disciple in so many cases, but you can also argue that a little bit too eager to get these kills and make big plays. And because of that situation, they then end up sometimes losing the fight. And now they lost 3 heroes, which means that the blue team has taken the lead in experience. And that is starting to make things a bit difficult. It's not a massive lead. The early level 16 talent is nice, but the window isn't big enough that they can fully capitalize on it. They can maybe steal a camp away, but that's probably where it ends. But at least the lead is lost for Team Disciple. And also, they have still not taken these forts out. So we are most likely going to see the red team lose forts first, now that we're talking about this push at the top lane. They're not even sending anybody there because they realize, well, this is likely not going to happen. And we didn't have level 16 anyways to try and defend this properly. So right now, we got also Mortality, which is, of course, fairly useful when you're up against someone like Diablo. There's the arrow. Nice. The root. Brightwing helps out. Apoc. And they get some stuns together. The Sundering and Malfurion is dead again. Now they're trying to go for Bad Benny. And bam! That's another stack for Malthael. So they lose Malfurion. They kill Diablo, who's obviously back right away because he was fully stacked. I think that cooldown reduction is still pretty impactful and can make a difference later on in the game, but for now it is the blue team that is clearly dominating this. So Disciple is about to die again. Malthael is gone. It's 9 kills to 9. And yeah, big action over here as we're now seeing more forts fall. At the bottom of the map, at least the Siege Giants were able to take the fort out here. I mean, again, that took long enough. If they can take the one at the top, that would be nice too. Dynouh's team is now basically a level ahead. And they want to take the fort in the mid lane out as well. Now, Garrosh and both Malthael are not back yet. Defense is okay, but not great. Yeah, careful. They defend this, so job well done. But very likely a second seed for free for Dynouh's team now. Yeah, they're already channeling. Hanzo could try and interrupt a little bit, but also needs to be cautious that he doesn't move in, get trapped and killed. So 2 seeds to 0. And obviously all of this is still playing out under the little caveat that we had one team with an objective and the other one didn't have Garden Terrors yet. That might change. The 15-second cooldown reduction for Malthael, though, that is still powerful. So this is still something to watch out for. This could be pretty big if he is able to get more and more kills. The problem is they can't also not rely fully just on Malthael. Malthael is currently at 29,000 damage, which is nice. Hanzo obviously has a bit more, but Malthael can really drop them further. But they need a lot more in this game. Controlling Genji, for example, has been a big problem for them. He's at 32,000 damage at this point, and the same, by the way, also for Thrall, who they were able to at least kill twice, but ever since then, Q is fully stabilized on his performance here. And now the next seed is spawning. Neutral spot at the top of the map. Yeah, Blaze is making sure that the topside fort gets destroyed. But down here, they go again for Malthael, or they try to, but Disciple saw this coming from a mile away. Team called it out, so he started to move away. The topside fort is now down on the red team side, and maybe Blaze is able to grab this one. But the blue team is getting closer to this. Yeah, it's an experience battle right now. Seems like the blue team is maybe even willing to give that seed up if they just don't, because they want to have level 20 talents first. And yeah, unless he's willing to sacrifice Sundering. Oh, Dynouh jumps in, but he's a bit too late. Half a second too late, at most. But that's really good news for Team Disciple, because now level 20 is available for their opponents. But they're not pressured into anything. They can take a few more seconds to get their own level 20 and don't have to fight for this right away. The blue team, they have to now think about what they want to do here. They can steal the camp, obviously, and maybe they're making a play for the fort in the middle, but that's the maximum that they can hope for. Diablo is also not stacked yet completely on his baseline. He's sitting at 71, which is nice, but it's definitely not enough for them just now to get him another life, another revive there. Next seed is up. This one you can now fight for. So Malthael is going for No One Can Stop Death. We get Lunar Shower again, Bullseye, and the Fortified Bunker. So yeah, this is going to get interesting. How massively are they engaging into this? And are we getting any additional hits now from someone like Malthael, who's now rotating over? First Judge Propulsion was a bit optimistic, but it was also one of those high-risk, high-reward ones where it's just like, hey, if it hits, it's fantastic. If not, we're just going to wait for the cooldown before we execute another one. But already we're getting ready to fight this one out. So Cure is hitting the Wolf right there. We have Garrosh sitting on the sides. Malthael is the one that just keeps poking a little bit and just throwing shade the entire time. Yeah, they go for Diablo. Diablo, and he disappeared. Goes down, but so does Malthael. No stack for Malthael, by the way. And Diablo is, of course, going to be back. They go for Garrosh. Seems like they're going to get a kill on him. Yep, there's the poly, and that is marking the end of Nagrom. So he gets destroyed, and we are going to get Garden Terrors right there. Yeah, Diablo found himself in a little bit of trouble here, but was able to... I don't want to say like he survived long enough to allow his team to get counter kills, and then with him coming back, they were able to take the fight. Now most of the lanes are extremely well pushed out by Team Disciple, so it's going to take a while for those Garden Terrors to end up on the other side of the map. Malfurion with Twilight Dream here has not upgraded his ult, of course. Well, not of course, but he hasn't, so couldn't use that there. But they're poking now on those keeps. I think the bottom fort is already lost 100%. Diablo pushing in aggressively. Malthael has, of course, bought back. If they can poke someone down, they can still use his ult here. So his ult is back, but that keep is in trouble. They go for Diablo again. Lots of damage. Where's that last rights when you need it? There it is, and it gets them another kill. They take Diablo and Brightwing both out. That's now 4 stacks on last rights. Even the keep is being saved as long as they make sure that Genji is not moving in for it again. But that's a 20-second cooldown reduction now for Malthael, and he is going to try and work that one out further and further and further. And I think they might even... Nah, they can't save that fort, can they? That would be ridiculous. But, well, apparently ridiculous is the name of the game here. So... yeah, it really is. It doesn't get much more ridiculous than this. Genji in trouble, so is Thrall. Thrall, oh my god, full 5-man team wipe. They caught them all and killed them all. So now 3 are down, and they're trying to go for the keep at the bottom of the map. Team Disciple is just absolutely incredible. I have no idea how they're always going for these turnarounds, but just a few seconds ago, a minute ago, they were the ones that got attacked. There was an objective on the maps pushing for Team Dynouh, and it seemed like the red team would lose a keep, maybe even more than that. Now they get all those kills, and they're pushing for the keep at the bottom. They can't do a whole lot because they don't have any minions here, but they're still stealing a few of the opponent's camps away. Marcel pushed us out too, can grab the Siege Giants here. So they have 15 kills to 12, and it's just generally working very, very nicely. With the 3 that they caught a bit later, still down for another 10 seconds, they have also more wiggle room at the bot lane, for example, so that wall will be destroyed, and then it's just a matter of getting all of that a bit closer to the keep to see if they can maybe get some more damage in, and you know what? Yep. Not sure if they can get the entire thing, but with the catapult now homing in on 2, there's a realistic chance that the keep is going to get destroyed. Jet propulsion was already set up. Keep is definitely falling as Diablo and Hogger were defending the remaining lanes. So that's the first keep of the game destroyed, and that's on the lane where we still have a fort standing for Team Disciple. A fort, by the way, that Genji or someone else should, as soon as possible, make a move towards and just take out, because it's literally a single auto attack that is missing to take that out, and that's the difference of catapults spawning non-stop, or you are at least getting some counter pressure on your own. Camp still claimed. Marcel also took the one at the bottom of the map. They're going to get their second seed here, meaning the next one that the red team claims is going to give them another set of Garden Terrors. So yeah, Genji's, by the way, doing exactly what I said. I mean, duh. So he takes that one out. Damage output so far, we have Marcel now on 40,000. 46,000 for Thrall, 43,000 for Genji. Yeah, Hanzo also sitting pretty tight here. And coming back to the top right now, looking to potentially push for the wall and take this one out as well. They have a camp that they can use with that aura. So, yeah, they're going to try and utilize that as Genji moved into the middle and takes the keep out. So, Dynouh with a couple of really nice and active plays. They have, of course, vision on the opponent's team up at the top and use that to their advantage. Now we get again all those stuns. They try to go for Thrall, but he bolted out with his 20. Gets Sundering out, but still no bunker forced from Ubi. So, they broke through the wall. Well done. Lots of ults now used too. Shockwave from Hogger. Sundering from Thrall, and we still have that next seed spawning, which could spawn Garden Terrors now for Team Disciple if they're going to get there. And they're starting to make the beeline down to the bottom of the map. Still the 20-second cooldown reduction for Marcel. And I guess this one is free? No, Genji is already saying hello here. So yeah, they still have to play for this at least a little bit. And Hanzo's checking. Going for that scatter shot to try and just push out those pushes as best as possible. The garden gnomes over here are getting kicked around again, as they should. Well, they're just, again, it's just a poke battle again. Everybody's looking for position, trying to see if they can maybe flank here. You have to be careful of Sundering, you have to be careful of the Shockwave. The Apocalypse, obviously, to chain all of this off with. And then we have also the Bolt of the Storm, we got Hellgate. There's a lot of tools just to keep them mobile in these fights and try to go for some backline pressure, for example. So Genji is starting a channel here that gets immediately interrupted. But we have level 24 now on the board for Team Disciple. But this is potentially what it all comes down to. You have one good team fight here and you can take the game. The same is true, by the way, for both of the teams. Both of them have an open shot at the core now with a keep destroyed on each side. But this is the chance to get yourself Garden Terrors. Genji coming in again. Diablo says hello and is about to say goodbye. Last rides and he's gone. That is stack number 5 for Malthael. Diablo will be back. Yeah, but so will Malthael. Malthael is going to be back too. They're trying to get the kill on the other hand. Can they? And Genji gets out, gets thrown back in by Nagrom and escapes again. Hogger, talking about escaping, is also moving out. But Malthael is back, and let's not forget that his ult is now back down to a 15-second cooldown. So yes, he is stacking this very aggressively. I can't believe that Genji made it out on the other hand. Genji looked like he would die for sure, and then he just made it. Now they're interrupting this again. They want the Siege Giants first. And they interrupt once more. Where's the last ride? Cooldown is ready. Not used though. Had a chance and didn't. Doesn't get close enough, but they can go for Diablo, and they take him down. Malthael dies as well, though. That's a bit of a problem at this point. Like, you can't just, like, die. He went too deep, but he got at least another stack, so now he's sitting at 6 stacks. The cooldown is insanely low. There's catapults, by the way, that are demolishing the core already, so that one's down to 84%. Well, make it 80. And we now have Garden Terror spawning too. But it's a bit of an awkward spot to push without Malthael. If they somehow would have been able to keep him alive, then it's a little bit different. But, yeah, maybe in the middle. It's still big, though, to have that cooldown reduction. That means that he can be much more aggressive, throwing those out during the fights. And, of course, he can also get a few more. I mean, he can get this down to 20 seconds. And he's getting closer and closer to get exactly to that particular point. Diablo's back in 10. They gotta be mega careful that they're not overstepping here. I have a couple of stomach pains with this right now. Once it's a 5 versus 4, you gotta be mega careful on this. So, yeah, Malthael will be back in a few seconds as well, but he also has travel time. He needs to cross the map first. Diablo's at 46 stacks. We have the Garden Terrors moving in. I don't think they're going to get a lot of structural damage. What they're going to do with those Garden Terrors is essentially nothing but push the lanes out and get a huge amount of map control. And then they can play around it. Benny with a throw, but they're going for fights where yeah. I mean, Benny's going to be happy to engage into a fight with the 5 versus 4. But with Nagrom just throwing him around, now we have Malthael back. Okay, so now it gets interesting here. And Malthael is by now at, well, 46,000 damage. Nearly 100k for Hanzo as he's about to join the 6-digit club. Blue team pinned down in their base now. There's still a few more camps that can be claimed. But still, 5 deaths on Malthael, 6 on Diablo. Those are the 2 frontliners that are getting targeted the most here. Blaze has died once. Has died least. 1 time. That's all. But yeah, that bot lane with catapults that could still pushing, still a big deal. Now, how much further can they go on this one? We have down at the bottom of the map now a few siege giants that are spawning and about to be taken again. At the top, they've already taken all the camps that were available. Team Disciple with a 2-1 lead in the best of 7 series. And now a chance to extend that lead. They are the ones that are in the driver's seat right now. But one good team fight is all that the blue team needs in order to bring this back. Genji is already coming in and is trying to push that out. Unstoppable gets used right away. So that's another cooldown that was just now burned. But they want to get that catapult onto the core. And once that it is, it's going to do big damage. We're 26 minutes in. So that keep is nearly gone. That catapult on the keep right now, that is going to destroy this thing. There's siege giants and then also catapults. And there's no way to save this anymore. So that is keep number 2 that just now got destroyed. 2 keeps gone. And they are dying a slow and painful death. Now, to be fair, this is obviously the lane in which the red team has also lost their keep. But they're waiting for the next camp. 8 seconds before they can get that. And it's just all the same MO here. Get every single mercenary camp that you get. Get those lanes pushing. Be aggressive around this. The blue team is instead going for the objective right now. And wants to get some Garden Terrors too. But, yeah, not going to be too urgent. Since it's only the first seed that they get here. 66,000 damage for Thrall. 64,000 for Genji. When it comes to the siege damage, we have now 250,000 for Malthael. 250k. And again, Garrosh looking for opportunities. They're pushing through the bottom of the map now. 27 minutes in, 28 minutes in, you know that those catapults are hitting hard. They're hitting mega hard. Diablo, careful. Jet propulsion missed as well. And they gotta be cautious now. But there's also, again, the cam pushing for the core. Arrow! And the stun! The root! They go for Thrall. Where's that last right when you need it? Right there. Right there it is. Malthael still has it, though. I thought he used it. Might have died before. I'm not quite sure if that actually worked out. But he still has his cooldown. So Malthael can still hit it. Could have sworn I've seen it. But yeah, he can still try and hit that last right. So big play for them right now. It's a 5 versus 4. The core losing its shield. They go for Bad Benny and he just rushes out before Malthael can get too close and they can get the hit points a little bit lower. This is the opportunity. 68% on the core. Right here. Team Disciple with a big shot to try and claim that game. Apocalypse being used. They go for Diablo. And here comes the hit. Malthael uses his ult, gets stack number 7. Brightwing is dead too. Dynouh is about to fall but dashes out. Diablo is back, but they lose Hogger again. And it's just an utter disaster. Team Dynouh with a back to the wall as Disciple and his boys push for the core. Big move from Garrosh again. And that is the end of Genji, the end of Diablo. Thrall comes in with a quick sundering, but it's just not enough. That's going to be the end of game number 4. It's a 3-1 lead in the best of 7 for the red team, for Team Disciple. Another great performance by the red team in this grand final. GG. Towers of Doom. Team Disciple with a 3-1 lead now in the best of 7 and the chance to crown themselves the champion of the Captain's Clash Europe. This could be the final map. And all the games mega close, always back and forth. But a lot of the late game coordination that we get from Team Disciple is just absolutely on point and top notch. And they showed it again on Garden of Terror. Now, Towers of Doom was chosen by Team Dynouh. So they lost the previous map and then said, like, we don't want to have first pick, first ban. We want to choose the map. They wanted to go to Towers. They wanted to break the MO a little bit and go to a map that is obviously very different from the rest. But now we have immediate bans on Falstad and on Dehaka, so globals are already eliminated. Chromie gets banned as well, which, by the way, leaves Ophia up, just saying. But that gives us Brightwing as a first pick. Now, if Team Dynouh does not pick Blaze, chances are that Team Disciple will. But yeah, you could even start with something like Jojo and Blaze here, obviously. Stitches comp. Okay, Stitches Junkrat. All right. Things just changed a little bit. We get a Stitches composition. That's probably going to result in either Medivh pick or ban. They go for Diablo. So I would assume that there's a bit of a switch from what they initially planned on doing. And there's Medivh gets picked. Okay, so there are two options essentially. They could either go and ban Medivh out so that the opponent can't play a kidnap combo. Or they could just simply come in and say, we pick Medivh for ourselves. And then when Stitches gets a Gorge on somebody, we provide a shield so that it doesn't get blown up immediately. And we provide the portal too. And of course, they can go ley line into Apocalypse. So they have a couple of options on how they can utilize that. So I like the pick a lot. I think it makes perfect sense. If they would not have picked it, they needed to ban it because they can't allow the opponent to have it. Ophia gets banned. I mean, she got banned a little bit later than expected. Previously, they banned her out first. But with Chromie already taken care of, they wanted to ensure that Ophia is not going to all of a sudden ruin the entire game for them. And Disciple is on one of his best heroes. Still, this is already a bit of a problem for Stitches when it comes to getting value. Depends a lot on the Medivh plays themselves, of course. With no support taken for Team Dynouh, they're banning out Malfurion. So any Gorge into a root is now shut down. You still have Tyrande, you have Uther, there's a couple of other heroes that you can use if that's the goal. Even Deckard Cain, I mean, again, you can, with Deckard Cain, lock a lot of CC in and slow the opponent down, just hinder them a little bit there. So, that's a good option for them, actually. We get Anduin and we get Vala. Yeah, well, what is actually going to be played by Cure here? Are you going to swap that around, or is Vala really going to be played by Cure? If Cure plays Vala, first of all, it would surprise me. And then I would most likely want to see him not on an auto-attack build, because he is going to die. He has a ping disadvantage. He's playing from the North American server. So he's definitely at a bit of a disadvantage there. Zeratul, oh, they're going to swap Zeratul over to Ubi, don't they? That is rough. They could even come in and pick now, well, they will most likely use Zeratul more on the side lane and go for a cleave build so that he has the wave clear he needs to rotate between the mid and the top lane. If he does that, then we have also Void Prison, so you can go Void Prison into Apocalypse and combo that also off with your ley line. So there's a lot of things that they can do here with Cassia as damage. Blaze, there he is. Stitches Blaze. We got Junkrat and Vala. Guys, we're set. This is the match point. Match point for Team Disciple. Let's go and see what they can now pull off on Towers of Doom. Is Team Dynouh able to slowly bring it back, or is the grand final going to end right here with a big victory for the red team? So, here we go. Game number 5. I think I said 4 earlier. It's been late. But, yeah, by now, again, this is match point. So, if Team Disciple takes it and takes that 4th victory, then they are the champion of the tournament and our first place. Over on the left side, we now have Cure, indeed on Vala. I'm curious to see that level 1 talent. Bad Benny's playing Stitches. We got Dynouh on Junkrat, Captain Rex on Anduin, and Copenhagen on Blaze. As expected, Ubi has been swapped around and is now on Zeratul. We got Scourge on Brightwing. Disciple is the one that plays Medivh for the team, with Nagrom on Diablo, and Morenas going for stacks with Thunderstroke on level 1 with his Cassia. And Cure is indeed going into an auto-attack style. Bold choice. I think at this point, I was about to say, they're accepting that somebody's going to die. It seems this might be Medivh. Like, he got displaced very quickly by Hooks and Junkrat there. But as I was about to say, I would expect Cure to die a couple of times here. And I think they do too. Normally, if you're playing a hyper carry Vala, you obviously have two choices. You can either go into a double support and try and keep her alive and have her as the only range damage dealer with 2 frontliners, or what we've seen a few times as well is you play a triple frontline and you try and shield her as much as possible just to ensure that she is not being taken out. And it's a lot more of a problem if Vala dies in such a scenario than if Vala dies here, where you have a second damage dealer at her side. So I think it's calculated that Cure is going to die a few times. If not, they would have also moved this around slightly, because again, there is a small ping disadvantage. It's not going to be the most insane thing, but it still exists. It's still a reality. And what's also a reality is that little pause that we're getting here. And that's, of course, a bit of bad news because, well, this is a pretty important map that they're playing right now. So far, not too much has happened. They know everything that's happening here. They see Diablo, they see also Copenhagen, but I'm not quite sure what the problem is. I hope that it's not any kind of technical difficulties on the side of one of the players. Because if that's the case, then yeah, we might be in for a bit of a rough ride. Team Disciple certainly would like to continue with the current lineup, I can tell you that much. But hey, fingers crossed, and let's hope that it all works out for them here. Alright, and we're back to business. The invade on the camp is already ongoing. The portal, and with the help of Medivh, even Diablo survives. I honestly don't know exactly who had to restart his PC on the side of Disciple, but damn, it took forever. I honestly have the suspicion that whoever needed to restart everything also built a new PC in the process. If you're watching this on YouTube right now, you can currently thank me for cutting all of that out. I think we waited nearly 10 minutes for that. That was ridiculous. But we're back to business now that we're continuing with game number 5. There's a lot of bandables going on there as well. And by the way, if you watch us on YouTube right now, just as a thank you for me cutting all of this out for you, hit that like button and sub to the channel if you haven't done it yet. But we're back to the game, and that's the good news, as you are wildly clicking on buttons. And, well, we got 16 stacks for Cassia, 15 for Medivh, and 21 for Vala. Zeratul, I talked a little bit about how you could potentially go into a cleave build, and honestly, it's what I expected, considering that he is essentially the side laner for the team. But they have now played, or they are playing, a Might of the Narazim build for him. So it's still going to be the same style that Ubi used in some of the previous games. And again the pause. You got to be joking. So I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but I think we have another disconnect. So this is starting to become a little bit worrisome too. Yeah, it's not really the grand final where you want to have this all going to shit. So let's hope that whatever they're doing here, they can somehow fix that problem. Because if not, then I guess it's time to either find a substitute player or play with a bot, and does not really sound ideal. And, well, whatever the reason was for Morenas, he's now already back on... Yeah, it's a little bit of a wild one. So, I am not 100% set on what exactly the problem is. Maybe it was not the same issue here, but as it stands, at least the party continues. We still wait for kill number 1. The only thing that we killed so far is my patience. But in the game itself, we are now looking at the triple altar phase, and Zeratul is trying to get it done up at the top right. Brightwing is sneaking in the bottom channel. There's not going to be an interrupt there, so they're not going to have a chance to do anything about that. Diablo is acting as a pin cushion for Vala as she's working those auto attacks in. And Benny is pretty much fulfilling the same purpose as we are getting the stacks for Cassia. Copenhagen, since they have Junkrat and Blaze at the top, is able to steal the opponent's altar away. So that's 2 altar channels in favor of the blue team and only 1 for Team Disciple. So yeah, not too bad. Q is also getting a lot of auto attacks in. I mean, just the fact alone that he has Junkrat next to him and doesn't have that big of a problem if he dies. They went mega aggressive with him, and he just works in those auto attacks like crazy. But right now, the jet propulsion, as Copen is trying to turn this around. Medivh, he's going to be the absolute linchpin. Scorch, careful, Blaze might be in trouble here. Diablo gets pushed around, and instead it's Anduin that falls. Anduin is dead. Cassia is getting out of the fight. Morenas with the balls of steel here turns it around and very quickly YOLOs out another Lightning Fury. I mean, he was basically dead, and if somebody just looked at him the wrong way, he would have probably withered away and died. But he's just like, nah, it's fine. I'm going to be totally okay here. I can turn this around and start stacking a little bit more. And, well, he wasn't necessarily wrong. So we are now looking at 1 kill for the red team. That's all that they were able to get so far. 28 stacks for Medivh. Nicely done by Disciple, up to now at least. Level 70 went for the Arcane Explosion here. And of course, we're still also keeping an eye on our boy Zeratul, who's now at 14 stacks on his level 1, so it's soon going to be done with that quest. And he's going to be the one just going in on those squishies. And there's the kill on Anduin again. Okay, so the Crybaby goes down once more. That is the problem when you spend too much time just trying to style your hair and not enough trying to practice with the sword. That's the main reason why he is always, why he's never using it. Yeah, so like sticking with the pointy end. I mean, if Game of Thrones, Song of Ice and Fire taught us one thing, it's that. But Anduin has apparently not learned that lesson. That's because he's more worried about hair products. It's a little bit like Breeze that way, like the Sweets of old on the Fnatic team. So now we got level 10 abilities for the team on the right side of the map. They are behind on core points though, but they're doing really well just getting kills together here. Benny is also in trouble and gets taken down by Cassia and Medivh. We have 36 stacks for Medivh, so he's about to complete the quest, and Cassia has good stacks too. It's Apocalypse for Diablo, obviously Might of the Nerazim here for Zeratul. And as the blue team picks their level 10 talents as well, we're getting Team Disciple with more momentum in the game. A half-level lead, 4 kills to 0. But, as I said before, they are behind in core points. Late game momentum is everything on this particular map. It's all about full control. And currently they're doing okay, but now is also the time when Gorge is starting to become an issue. And that means Medivh has to be absolutely on point and make sure that he is saving the targets that are getting hit here. And not become the target himself. That's another important one, especially not before he finishes his quest. Hook comes out. Medivh just flying around here and providing some extra vision as they're going on to Blaze. Yeah, nice. Copenhagen dashes out. There's the portal. And he was hoping for some hits, but I would be a bit careful to be that aggressive, honestly, with a portal this close to completing my baseline quest. Bot lane, Yeah, they're also hiding here from the hook still. 35 stacks for Cassia, so she's absolutely en route with the progress. We have the double altar at the bottom of the map that they're now going for. Junker is apparently enjoying himself here, but here comes the APOC. Ah, they try to go for Anduin again, but they missed the setup. Missed the angle and could not get those kill setups. Disciple loses a lot of his HP, needs 2 more stacks. Not the time where you're going to be okay dying. So Disciple needs to be mega careful. He's going to need a bit of healing too. But there's already this placement here. Blaze fights it out in the middle of the map with Zeratul. Down here, the channel attempt from Cassia. And I think they might be able to zone that out. Benny gets attacked. Loses some hit points, but he's also a beefy boy, so he survives for quite a long time. As Medivh is finally finishing off that baseline. And the mid lane altar has been taken by Team Dynouh. So if it's an even exchange, the red team is going to be totally okay. But if not, then it will be a big push ahead for the blue team in this 5th game of the series. Once again, they're a bit low here. Cassia got gorged. Vala is dead. And so is Stitches. The portal plays once more. Spectacular here. Vala loses some of the attack speed. Stitches is gone. They could save Cassia. And now it's all about that channel at the bottom of the map. They get the shots fired, and they might be able to get a bit more map control too. They have a full level lead by now, 13-12, 6 kills to 0. We still haven't seen a single kill in this game for Team Dynouh. So here comes the pumpkins for them. 43 stacks for Cassia. Again, as I said, looking pretty okay here. Zeratul, of course. He's going to work his magic. Ubi has shown incredible games on the hero. Needs to be very careful with the jet propulsion, but outside of that, he's doing fairly okay here. Comes in again. Copenhagen wants to stun, doesn't get it, and now Junkrat had to move into and play around it. And yeah, Zeratul is going to keep both of them at bay and is just murdering it. So he is occupying 2 heroes, which means that down at the bottom of the map, we have a 4 versus 3 happening out now. And Zeratul is actually just dying. I don't know why he pushes it that hard. I mean, honestly, you're up against 2 anyways. Anything you do there is a win already. So don't push it that aggressively and let your opponent win the bot lane. I don't know why he risked running into a trap on this one, but that's a kill that was absolutely unnecessary, and it's also first blood. So Team Dynouh gets that kill that gives them control of the bot lane and puts them into a much better spot. Ubi, love his play, love his Zeratul control, but that was definitely him overstepping, and it was unnecessary. So this is the moment where Team Dynouh can try and capitalize on the momentum that they've built with this. And it's also a nice chunk of experience that they, of course, now got with it. I mean, they got 1 kill, and they get 1,000 experience points for it. Zeratul is back, and we have the altar, a single altar now spawning at the bottom of the map. 2 teams are still fairly close here. But right now, Stitches is going to be looking for that hook again. Cassia with 30,000 damage is the top damage dealer right now. Vala died once, lost a little bit of attack speed. Diablo, the hook, and Medivh gets eaten. Diablo immediately with the ult though, and the APOC shuts this down as we have Anduin nearly dying. Big ult from Cassia again, and they're going for Anduin. Cassia is able to get the kill, even though it's a bit delayed. Nicely done. Anduin for the 3rd time now eliminated. And the Crybaby is having problems here. Little pretty boy is getting targeted time and time again. Cure, by the way, working his magic with the auto attacks and doing a fantastic job of getting good stacks together. He's sitting at 100 already, which means that he has 2 quest rewards on level 1. Has only died 1, so that's a really nice trade, given the situation that they're in here. Gotta be careful on that hook for that very reason, but Gorge isn't ready. Benny is bullied around a little bit as they're still hoping to make a play for that bell tower, but Medivh is so low, and yeah, they gotta save him here. So they're starting to rush away. Zeratul, this time he gets the kill against Blaze in the mid lane. So Ubi redeeming himself a bit for what happened at the top lane and able to take Blaze down. So now it's even more experience for the red team as we're just seeing Zeratul rotate between the lanes and take those waves out one after another. Bottom of the map, a couple of pumpkins about to be taken again. 24 points to 24 points now on the core. And on the damage side, we have 30,000 for Junkrat and 40,000 for Cassia. So, yeah, at the top, 8 kills to 1 now. Junkrat very careful. Just trying to set some traps up so they can deal with Zeratul whenever he makes a play. But talking about making plays, seems like Diablo wants to make one too. Is about to jump in again. Apork and gets stopped by Vala with the Rain of Vengeance. Stuff like this happened a couple of times now. They're trying to go again for Medivh, but he should be fine. On the other hand, still... Oh, Medivh, the portal comes, but he's too late. Medivh gets killed, and now they really got to rush away, because that's always the lifeline that they have. And the jet propulsion connects beautifully after Brightwing jumps in, and now they are in real trouble, especially Diablo, who goes down. But he had his stacks together, so that's nice. But this is all happening at the triple altar phase, and yeah, they're getting murdered. That's a huge problem. Losing 3 heroes in this situation at this moment in time is an utter disaster. They can try to at least get one of them, but I suppose that's all that they can do here. Blaze gets interrupted, so Zeratul gets the hits. Vala wants the bell tower at the bottom of the map. The 4 shots had already been fired before there was a thing, so now it's 20 to 20 points, but another 5 will be fired once that Blaze finishes the channel, and that's what's happening right now. So here we are. 20 points to 15. Still fine on that, but they have to retake the bell towers, and yeah, that battle at the bottom of the map was a problem. And with those few kills that the blue team just got, they set themselves up for success again. They can go for the boss right now, can make a big play here to reduce the core points of their opponents even further. Obviously, by now, Team Disciple is fairly sure that the boss is getting attacked, but they want to take that bell tower back. And it seems like that's exactly what they can try and do here. But Stitches might still be able to get a hook. Has his extension on the hook range, of course, since level 13. But they're attempting for a trader from the looks of it. It's 11 points against 20 now on the core. 69 stacks for Cassia. Nice. And 128 for Vala. Even the experience lead is still in the hands of the red team. But the problem is that even with all of the XP that they were so far able to get, they're still massively behind on core points, and the blue team is catching up. But Zeratul comes in for a double kill. Gets 2, gets Vala and Junkrat. And it's again Ubi with big plays here on Zeratul. Gets gorged though, and that might not be a problem. Yeah, gets a shield, wanted to move out, and I think he couldn't click it. I'm not quite sure what exactly happened there, but was he... No, Junkrat didn't stop him. Junkrat is dead. So Zeratul got killed after all. It really seemed like he was trying to enter the portal and just couldn't. Might have been Ando in? Like, I'm not quite sure what exactly stopped him there. Didn't properly catch it. But there's level 20 now, and that gives us Shadow Strike. We have Invisible Friends, and Medivh is cheating. Yep, can go for his Leyline plays again. Benny obviously still on cooldown here. Yeah, 3 shots fired. That's all that they got for now, putting the core down to 17 points. Yeah, it seemed that Anduin was actually useful in the last encounter. There's no other choice left, but it had to be Anduin. There was no proper stun, so it was the root from Anduin that locked him down. Anduin with 16, of course, with a Glyph of Faith here too. And yeah, with that, we have now 40,000 damage for Vala. Good job by Cure. Again, dying for the second time removes another 5% of the attack speed bonus, but still, this is great performance from him here. Good stacks on level 1, good damage for him too. Not the main or not the only damage dealer for the team, which is kind of important in that context. Benny always with a couple of prediction hooks where he tries to anticipate where Diablo, for example, could be and lock those in. But for now, we're having the attack up at the top against the bell tower that they're still trying to reclaim. And Ubi is going to get this one. Down at the bottom of the map, the blue team is already attempting to push for the next one here. So while Zeratul is still missing, they think that they can exploit the fact that they have 5 at the bottom of the map. Still looking for that hook from Stitches, and Zeratul is now rotating over. Diablo, well, that ley line is not going anywhere. It's a pretty long ley line, but that didn't do anything for them. So 5 kills to 10. The kill count is still insanely heavily in favor of Team Disciple. This is match point. And Towers of Doom is a fantastic map for such an important one. 4 more stacks for Vala to get another damage boost to her auto attacks. Diablo is not quite where he can get a revive. The hook and bam! Beautiful! with jet propulsion and everything. Benny is able to get the kill. Oh boy, that one was glorious, and it gives them a free channel. Check this one out. I mean, so well done here. They have a chance. See him get the insta-stun, and that is the end of Zeratul. And honestly, it's games like this, or plays like this, that can win you a game. So that's what they're trying to do here. Zeratul is down for another 30. If they get follow-up kills, then they might be able to pull it off, especially with now the Gorge gobbling them up with Stitches. They could make that. Light Bomb as a follow-up. Diablo with the APOC. The counter kill on Anduin. Anduin is dead again, but Brightwing falls too. Cure gets bullied, but goes for Diablo, who's fully stacked and will be back. But it's still big damage as the blue team is pushing for that bell tower. They want it back. They want the control. They want to take it all. But I gotta give credit to Team Disciple. This is a solid defense that they're setting up here. And they have most of their heroes back up on the map. Diablo will have to stack again. And Brightwing, of course, will then global in. But it's 17 points to 7. Still winnable for Team Disciple. But of course, it's an uphill battle. But still, that they were able to maintain control over the bell tower at the bottom of the map is already huge. So really nice defense. It was a 5 versus 4 when they were able to get the kill on Anduin. Vala, thankfully for Dynouh's team, Cure, he was able to go and take Brightwing out a moment later. If not for that, that would have been a huge problem. With Brightwing being able to global in, they should have the upper hand on this altar spawn, by the way. Actually, scratch that. Anduin is already moving back now. Brightwing back up on the map. Yep. Channel is only opening up in 5 seconds. And here we go. This is going to be a big one. If Team Dynouh wins this altar, they are having the opponent mega low. Nice hook against Cassia. Benny, he eats Medivh. Medivh gets eaten again. There's the light bomb. Gets the stun out. Disciple gets saved. Is alive. And here's the APOC. They get some stuns through. I think he just hooked Cure out of the stun, by the way, from the APOC. Huge play from Benny. And another big hook. Oh my god. Morenas is dead. Huge plays from Stitches here. Benny hooking them out of the apocalypse. And here comes the channel. Seems like we could go to game number 6 in this one. They're still trying to fight this from the looks of it. At least they haven't given up on a potential pick on one of the targets. And well, you know what? They're going to get a hit, aren't they? Dynouh, low, and he gets away. Brightwing gets blown up. Once again, Team Disciple takes the risk with Zeratul. Diablo's also low, but Zeratul gets destroyed. Vala wins the game for them. Vala is able to just win the game for them here. The rotation of the blue team towards the boss was obviously underway already earlier. It was one of the main reasons why the attack was happening as it did. But nicely done. Zeratul nearly able to get those kills, but Cure just too strong. Fantastic performance by him here, and he just ripped them apart. That is a second point on the board for Team Dynouh. The shots are fired, and Towers of Doom goes to the blue team. Nicely done. What a series. What a game here. GG, and well played. Game number 6. So, the chance for Dynouh's team to force a tie and bring us to game number 7. Team Disciple with some pretty amazing games, and even on the last one they had some fantastic plays, but the hooks from Benny in particular were just a little bit too much for them to deal with. Honestly, Benny hooking people with a friendly hand out of apocalypses and other plays that are being doing here, it's absolutely bonkers, and he did fantastic, especially considering that they went up against Medivh. Now we have Lucio and we have Dehaka banned out. I mean, obviously, Team Disciple would really love to avoid going to map number 7, and they were bantering about that a bit earlier. Dynouh's team in particular was. But we'll see if maybe now here in Dragonshire, Team Disciple can lock in the victory of the grand final. I mean, they decided they want to have first pick, first ban. And right now, we're going to get the ban on Ophia again. We get the ban on the Hakas, that means on the side lane, Blaze is obviously going to be a big name again. Whereas on Dragonshire, you still have a couple of other options. So, yeah, that kind of works. And they start with Brightwing. Brightwing has really become the first pick priority pretty much for most of the teams currently. We've seen that done by Scorch already a lot, and it just keeps happening over and over again. So Malfurion still up for grabs if Team Dynouh wants to spec into that, but I think we're going to see the side laner for them too. Keep in mind that Team Disciple has also picked on most of the games when they could Hanzo and Blaze, so if that's not taken now by the blue team, I'm pretty sure that Team Disciple would lock that in. But Blaze gets indeed taken, and we have Rhaegar together with that. So not going for Malfurion, specifically Captain Rex. Really loves to play Rhaegar, not only on maps like, I don't know, Garnoff Tower, for example, but also here, so we've seen Rhaegar multiple times, probably the one that played Rhaegar the most. Jojo. Has been a while since Nagrom was able to play Johanna, and he completed his level 4 subdue multiple times already today, so maybe he can pull that off once more and really contribute for the team. Morenas, he's still picking Hanzo, so that's good for him. But, well, let's see what else we're going to get here now with the final few bans that are coming in on the blue team side first. So, they're banning out Hogger. Yeah, they're a bit worried about the side lane at this point, of course. But this is Dragonshire. It's always a little bit special. We've seen the Rel play from Disciple himself, for example. So we could technically see that again here. Urel is definitely a good character on Dragonshire to have. False that gets banned out. That might force Cure back into his Thrall performance that we've seen a few times already. For Cure, I feel like 80% of the games that he played, and it's probably a huge overestimation, an exaggeration on my end, but we always seem like on either Thrall or on Falstad. That's just happening time and time again. So, Tyrael plus Blaze, the double layer of defense here. Sylvanas for Dynouh, that's always a nice one. That always gives you a lot of momentum too. And then on the right side, the final two picks. So, yeah. Urel? No Urel? Like, what exactly are they going to go for on the side lane? And if Disciple plays Urel, what is Ubi going to pick? Zeratul and Greymane. Yep, they want that Zeratul pick again, and I don't blame them. It didn't work out on the last map, but he still had amazing moments, and we saw the same happening previously in the series in, I believe, the losers bracket final, where he just absolutely crushed it. We get Greymane together. They don't have the biggest and toughest front line, though. And in the last game, they had Medivh to kind of make up for it. Right now, they are a little bit more on the squishy side. There is no second... The side laner is really not quite there yet. And we get Varian instead. Varian as a reaction to it. Okay, that's an interesting choice. Ladies and gentlemen, game number 6. We're heading straight into Dragonshire, and this could get spicy. Game number 6. Here we are. On the blue team side, on the left, Cure on Tyrael. So yeah, they swapped things around pretty aggressively. So they basically saw Zeratul coming in, and they decided that they wanted to play with a taunt against it. So they're swapping Bad Benny on Varian, and they played Cure on Tyrael. So they're playing a very aggressive style with a triple front line, where they will likely play on level 10 Judgment for Tyrael. So Komang is playing Blaze, we got Dynouh and Sylvanas, and then Captain Rex on Rhaegar. As over on the right side, Ubi on Zeratul coming in with a Shadowhunter. We have Scorch on Brightwing, Morenas on Greymane, Disciple on Hanzo, and Nagrom is playing Johanna. This is a really, really interesting lineup now. We have a triple melee frontline, a heavy hit point frontline tank, into a more squishy lineup that is able to chunk out more damage, but does lack the survivability. And Brightwing and Johanna are the first ones to experience exactly that. And that's at the beginning of the game. So, yeah, not really the best opening for Team Disciple. And if they are able to get good ganks on some of the heroes on those side lanes and get quick kills in, that can definitely work. But I think this is going to get really difficult now. I mean, Morenas is already in trouble, and this doesn't even account for Taunt that we are going to get on level 4. Imagine this happening in 1.5 levels when you have a Taunt to drop on them as well. Like, that's... And then Judgment later on. Assuming they were going to get Judgment, but why wouldn't we? So, Yep, you have a lot of tools, a lot of CC, and I'm not so sure how Team Disciple is gonna plan on dealing with that. Now, they have a lot of heroes that individually and also as a team can be super powerful. But, yeah, anyways. This is gonna be an interesting game. And currently, it is definitely the blue team that is making all of the decisions and is trying to be aggressive around this. Even the invade here on the camp. They might even get another kill here. So the camp is about to be claimed, but blue team starts to take control and they have to fall back, and that is a bruiser camp stolen away from Team Disciple, and Team Dynouh is now starting to take more of a lead, even with that level 7, that level 4 talent that they just picked up. So now we have Taunt in, we're getting Reciprocate, we also have the Incinerator Gauntlet, and with the double cam pushing through the top, that wall is falling, they're taking damage on the fort. This is a huge problem. Subdue is in, but guys, they're already a level behind. They're already a level behind, there's several structures behind. Zeratul gets pushed in the middle of the map by Benny. And yeah, that is... I'm a bit worried for Team Disciple here, I'm not gonna lie. That's a Dragonite as well, before the 3-minute mark. I mean, right now it just seems like this thing was completely falling apart in the draft already. And what we are witnessing now in the game itself is just a result of that. So, yeah, this is a pretty quick one over here. Currently, we're having the aggression at the top lane focusing on Brightwing again. Keep in mind that with just a simple jet propulsion and a couple of slows, they might be able to get a kill on Scourge. They're trying to go for it, and they get that kill. 3 kills to 0, and level 7 is in. And that's the top fort destroyed. Top fort is gone. Dragonite is pushing through the middle of the map. There's a level 7 talent already available, and they're not even stopping with that kill. They're going for the next one. Hanzo is gone, and it is just insane how they are getting crushed here. Like, again, we're 3.5 minutes into this game. And they're losing their second fort right now. Not the first fort. They're losing their second fort after 3.5 minutes. Yeah. So that's happening. And yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know what to say here. This is getting insane. They're going through them like hot butter through cheese in the early game. It's only 4 kills, but 4 kills to 0. And unless somebody on the side of Team Disciple is able to make some absolutely mad plays, then, yeah. This is gonna get nasty. But then again, either way, down at the bottom of the map, we are having the quick play for the next camp. I mean, obviously, if you're on the red team, you can't basically do anything here. You can wait for your level 7 talent, which you now have, and hope to engage in a couple of decent fights. But you really need to pick your battles right now. You're 1.5 levels behind already. In an ideal world, you get some ganks on isolated heroes, which are not really a thing right now on the blue team. They're essentially 5-manning the bot lane already. So there's a taunt. They're coming in for Jojo as Zeratul rotates out between the lanes. But again, Subdue completed. It's kind of funny to me how every single time that we're seeing this, Nagrom is just able to complete this quest before the 5-minute mark. This is the 3rd time today already. It's just insane. But unfortunately for them, that doesn't guarantee that you're winning the game. They're losing Hanzo now. Here comes Judgment as expected, as they have level 10 abilities, and you can kiss that last fort goodbye too. So, yep, that fort is gone. And they're now going to make the play for the next couple of structures here. So that wall is going to get destroyed. Absolutely no chance of holding on to this. And they're likely going to lose the keep. We're 5.5 minutes in. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely crazy. So there's the taunt right there. And we have a play for Jojo, who gets saved by Brightwing for just a little bit longer. But they're still 2 levels behind, and they need an entire level until they have level 10. Somehow, the red team is able to hold on to their keep, which in and of itself, I think, is already an achievement and should be honored. I don't know why they're even following up on that. They should stay as far away from them as possible. Once that those ults are coming back out and Varian turns it together with the Judgment from Tyrael, this is just the end of it. But, yeah, it's crazy. And again, I mean, I'm not quite sure if this is Morenas again that has the problems here, but we got another pause. It's a bit of a question also how much that screws with the team, obviously. This happened on the previous map that they lost as well. And I definitely think that it at least contributes. It throws off the rhythm a bit and is not helping for sure. But in this case, they're already so far behind. It will be really, really difficult to turn this one around. Maybe not impossible. It depends on what happens after level 10. The dynamic always changes when both of the teams have heroic abilities. So, seems like Nagrom was apparently this time the one that was suffering some micro disconnects, is what they were saying. The Dragonite is again about to be taken, and since they don't have level 10 abilities yet, they won't be able to interrupt this either, so that's the second objective. I have to again stress that we are now 6.5 minutes into the game. At 6.5 minutes, all of the forts are destroyed, the bottom keep is on half HP, and now finally we have level 10 for Team Disciple. But they are massively running out of time here. They need kills, they need them quickly. We got Dragon Strike now from Hanzo, and we got the Bullet for Greymane, but they need something here. Nagrom obviously with a completed level 4, which is kind of nice, so if it comes down to team fights where they can use the utility on this and maybe slow someone down so they can get kills, if they can maybe chase, like there's a couple of stars that really need to align in order to give the red team a chance to bring this back, but it's just nasty. I mean, it's keep time at the bottom of the map right now, and this one's likely going to be taken. Obviously, there's still a talent disadvantage, and Jojo gets killed right away. So, yeah, absolutely bonkers. They're already looking at the core here, more or less. They abandon the Dragonite at this point and just think they have a better chance of simply going for the core if they don't even use the DK. It's too weak at this point anyways, and if they have Benny available, then they can simply go for another taunt and get another kill, which is exactly what's happening here. Greymane is gone, and the core is losing its shield. Core is losing its shield quickly, and with 8 kills to 0, yeah, well, that's Cure gone, that's 1 down. Can they maybe kill a few more heroes? They could do a lot if they can kill 2 more, because that experience gain that they get through that is helping them quickly to close that gap. So Captain Rex is the next one to fall. Core has not taken any damage, but take a look at the experience distribution here. The same amount of hero XP from both teams because of those 3 kills that we just got. Even more than that because they were at a much higher level. So this is exactly what the team needs, but what they of course need more than anything else right now too is to take some of those forts out. Structures need to be destroyed, and need to be destroyed quickly, because passive experience, I mean, look at the difference here. Passive experience accounts for 4,000 experience points between the two teams. It's 1.5 level of a gap. They have at least level 13 talents right now. Greymane is already down at the bottom of the map and doing his job here. But, yeah, they might have a shot to come back into this game. They're still far behind. I mean, far behind. But at least they made a little bit of headway and looked like they... I mean, I don't want to say have a chance, because it's just crazy how far behind they are. But that they can dream. Now they have hope. They didn't have any a minute ago. Now they have at least a little bit of hope. A minute ago, they had to wish for the opponent to just collectively lose electricity. Right now, they have to hope for them getting a really nice team fight and getting some lucky kills in. And then they can maybe recover. But the gap in experience is a very cold and harsh reality that they still have to deal with. And they will have to fight against opponents with the talent advantage for quite some time here. So, yeah. 16 is now in. We're getting Will of the Forsaken. Bound by Law is in 2. And at the top, they were trying to go for Copenhagen, but they couldn't get that kill. So right now we have the play still being made, as again with Judgment, they could force that fight. And there it is, already being utilized. So far, not successful. Here comes the meme strike. Nice! And a big hit on Sylvanas. They can't get that kill, but oh my god. Sylvana, Dynouh escaped with negative hit points. This is the problem, by the way, for Team Disciple. It's a great fight that they were fighting there, and it's nice that they essentially won it with a talent disadvantage. But the problem that they still have is that they didn't get kills. And what did you get out of that fight now? Pretty much nothing. You didn't lose anything, which is sweet, but you're so far behind that any fight where you don't get something out of it is pretty much already a net negative. So if they get kills there, they catch up in experience even further. But, yeah. Surviving through the battle is great, but they needed that Sylvanas kill at a minimum. And now it's another Dragonite. Yep. DK is in. What Team Disciple is trying to do is get level 16. They're close. Not close enough, but close. And it seems like the blue team has abandoned the idea to just simply go for the course of the bot lane. They want to go for another keep instead. They realize that the death timers are just too low, even 11 minutes into the game. So they are going for a bit of a different tactic right now. 31,000 damage from Hanzo, 26,000 from Sylvanas. At level 16 talents right here, right now. But can they stop that attack? I mean, I think they're going to save that keep for sure. Dragonite didn't even do any damage with it. I mean, he was outside the range when he used the Dragon's Breath. So nothing happened there. Now they want to force fights, of course. There's still that 2-level gap that we've seen for such a long time in this game. But the problem or the point still is, if the red team doesn't force fights, then the blue team can just slow things down a little bit, wait for level 20 to kick in, and then play around their Storm Talent advantage. Okay, Iron Skin was good. There's again the meme strike, zoning them away. But simply zoning them out is not going to cut it for you. I don't think they're going to make it to level 20. Unless they get more kills and close that gap a little bit. Because once the blue team has 20, they're just not going to sit there. They're not just going to sit there and like wait, you know. So there's the fight. Been waiting for this for a while. Zeratul jumps in. Ancestral is already out. The taunt. And Jojo is dead. Yeah, you got to take some risk when you're in that situation. And currently they're backfiring. So the team is falling back once again with Janna gone. We got Ubi trying to make moves, zipping around them as best as he can, but Taunt is up, so he needs to be really careful. I really like what Team Dynouh did during that draft in order to create a situation like this. Massive amount of Siege Giants and Catapults now at the bottom of the map. They get the Taunt on Greymane. That's a kill. That's a double kill. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is game. That is definitely game. 11 kills, 2-3 right here, right now, as Team Dynouh forces game number 7 in the grand final. We're going the distance, the final map incoming at the Captain's Clash. GG and well played. Alrighty, let's go! Game 7, guys! We're going the distance, the grand final. Team Dynouh and Team Disciple. Honestly, it's insane. I can't believe that we're on the final map. This is the same pairing we had in the winner bracket final, and there they went to the final map as well. Now we're on Sky Temple. On the left, Cure on Thrall, Captain Rax on Brightwing, Dynouh on Sylvanas, Copenhagen on Urel, and Bad Benny on Mirrodin. And over on the right side, it is the red team, Team Disciple. They want to get revenge for the winner bracket final. With Disciple himself on Hogger, Scorch on Rhaegar, Ubi on Blaze, Morenas on Hanzo, and Nagrom is playing Tyrael. So there's also a little bit of a disclaimer here, because as you might see, there are a couple of changes when we're talking about the final map right now. First of all, we don't have a draft. Oh, you're careful. We don't have a draft, and the quality and the in-game quality might be a little bit different. The reason is fairly simple. As crazy as that sounds, I could not cast the final map live. Now don't get me wrong, I have absolutely no idea how this game ended. I have no clue. I got the replay, but I do not know who won the tournament. But I had a flight that I needed to wake up for at 3 AM in the morning, and needed to leave my place at 4 AM to catch it. It was a flight to Germany, where I worked at Gamescom, and this game, it just lasted too long. I was already at a spot where in game number 5 I was saying, like, guys, if this goes to game 7, I won't be able to cast all of it. I need at least 3 hours of sleep, or I won't be able to do anything. So I couldn't cast this. It was insane. After game 6, I just had to tap out. I had to ask them, send me the replay. I cast it later. So yes, if there are differences in quality here, that's the reason why. That's the reason why we don't have a draft. But I can't wait to find out now who actually won it. So this is cast from replays, mainly for YouTube. If you watch this there right now, make sure you hit that like button. Going the extra mile for you guys right now. And of course, if you haven't subbed to the channel, make sure to do it. But we have such an insane tournament. Such a crazy grand final. And if that doesn't justify hitting that like button, then I do not know what will. So, here in game number 7, who's going to take it? We have the red team trying to get revenge. I mean, they had initially in the winner bracket final a 2-0 lead. And Team Dynouh pulled off this absolutely insane reverse sweep, which was crazy. And right now, what we're looking at here, I mean, this is also just absolutely nuts what we're getting. Teams are fighting back and forth the entire time, and it is a bonkers. So, what exactly can Team Disciple pull off right now? They were already in a massive advantage. I mean, again, they had match point after match point, and then Team Dynouh once again was able to kind of turn it around and force the final map of the series. Can they do it again? Can they crown themselves the champions of the tournament with a similar performance of what we've seen in the winner bracket final? Team Disciple is trying to take down their white whale right now. They are trying to take down Dynouh, and both of the teams, of course, super cautious. But maybe Disciple himself, the captain of the red team, is in trouble. The Stormbolt from Bad Benny hitting hard, but he's able to get out. Q, on the other hand, also dropping a bit low, needs to retreat here. We have the blue team again with a triple frontline setup, and the same is also true for their opponents. So both of the teams with a triple frontline right now. The temples are up. We do not have any globals outside of Bright Wings, and the Harkon or False that could do something at the bottom of the map and then fly into the big team fights. The red team is doing actually pretty okay on the initial shots at least. We have Blaze holding on to the top, and Rega snuck a few of the shots in the middle, but they lose Tyrael. Tyrael is gone, and that is first blood in game number 7. So, Q immediately on his way towards the top. Ubi is sitting there. Hogga is down at the bottom of the map. We have a level 7 talents already available for the blue team. Team Dynouh doing what they can to now take the early game lead. And thanks to the kill against Tyrael, that gives them, of course, a lot of shots here. They also have the early level 7. But the red team is taking over at the top once again, and they're going to get the final shots fired. So the 4 takes some damage. But the same was also true in the middle of the map, of course. Yeah, with level 7, we're now also getting the Swift Retribution over here. Cure. I mean, he's been playing Thrall over and over and over again. Thrall and Falstad, those were the 2 heroes that he probably played the most in this tournament. And, well, can they win again? Bit of a battle for the Watchtower, as we have Hogga still down at the bottom of the map. Again, the same build that we've seen from Disciple before. Of also Thrall now with his level 4 talent, getting the stacks in with the Frostwolf pack here. Ancestral Wrath on level 7. This is going to be crazy. I mean, so many insane games in this series already. But if you would have asked me at the beginning if I can see this go to game number 7, I would have probably said like, nah, I'm probably thinking maybe it's a 4-2 or 4-1 victory, but full on best of 7, never ever. So, awesome stuff here. Side laners up at the top. We got Urel up against Blaze now. Boss is by now also up on the map. That definitely is going to play a role eventually. I mean, I can't see a game between these 2 teams where the boss is not at some point becoming the center of attention. And we have a lot of tools, of course. I mean, if you go Sanctification here with Tyrael, then you can try and dominate that boss battle. We have also Urel. We'll still have to wait and see for what exactly she's going to pick here. But think about Thrall, for example. A well-placed Sundering can go a long way. And if everybody clusters up on the boss point later on, Sylvanas is going to say thank you very much and drop that Wailing Arrow on them. 2 stacks now for Thrall. Disciple topping the fountain again. Temple activating this time down at the bottom of the map. And here come the rogue abilities. Sundering is in. So we get Sundering for Thrall. Can help them later. Boss also activated Disciple. And there's kill number 2. Dynouh's team, 2 kills to 0. They're already here. The opponent doesn't have level 10, and they instantly go for the boss. The blue team won the last 2 maps, and they're now trying to win a 3rd one in a row and crown themselves the champions of the Captain's Clash. 2 kills to 0. They have the 1 level lead. The boss moving through the bottom of the map. And in addition, we have Muradin already on the point. He's getting the shots for the team, and they're looking good here. Both teams now with heroics though, as we have on the red team side, Horga with a shockwave. Big plays in the middle as well from Team Dynouh. It's not only the bot lane where they're being aggressive. They're taking the fort out in the middle. The arrow connects, but it's not enough to help them to get some kills. 2 forts destroyed. Guys, we're having a problem for Team Disciple. We're also having a problem for Sylvanas. And Rhaegar is relieving her of the last few hit points. And that is the first one to fall on the blue team side. Now, at least Team Disciple is getting the fort at the top, so that's some counter pressure. But the big problem that we still have for the red team is that they now lost their bottom fort. They lost the mid fort. And, yep, lots of ground, lots of structures lost. Their behind experience. And this is obviously a bit of a small disaster. Taking this camp, though, that's a different story. Because even with Cure now completing his quest, that means that we're all of a sudden looking at a double camp at the top. Problem is that Sylvanas is back to business. And with her, it's much, much easier for the blue team to defeat this and to push the wave back. They defended quite nicely. That teamfight, on the other hand, breaking out here. Tyrael in trouble. No sanctification. Was actually interrupted and put on the short cooldown. Going to be back in just a moment here. Could still drop it if need be, and does exactly that. The arrow connects with Muradin. They're getting the jet propulsion connect. Bad Benny still alive, as somehow Hanzo is also still kicking, which is kind of wild. Nobody dying in this fight. This is absolutely bonkers. That's really bananas. I did not see that one coming. So somehow everybody got out of that battle well, maybe not unharmed. Some of them were very close to dying, but nobody got dropped. 23,000 damage now for Sylvanas, 27,000 for Hanzo. We still have a few camps on the map that the 2 teams could now fight for. And to be fair, the gap in experience is slowly being closed. So, yep, we now have them a little bit closer here to level 13, both of them. Siege Giants already taken, and it seems like Team Disciple wants to be aggressive and steal the second camp too. Now the blue team is rotating their heroes over slowly, but they're not in time to prevent it from happening, so both of the Siege Giant camps are claimed. With Sylvanas being around, it's not too big of a deal here, but of course it's experience that you're missing out on, and a little bit of lane presence. Villains chosen on level 13. Both teams with the extra talent, which gives us also the Spirit Shield for Thrall, as the temples are popping up again. And Muradin gets his full synergy with the level 4 talent now that he picked up Healing Static. So more survivability in those team fights. A couple of zoning storm bolts from Benny. Urel is taking the shots at the bottom of the map, and that is going to cost the red team their last fort. Nobody's contesting it. And now Horga is dead too. 3 kills to 1. And if they can't kill Benny here, and he easily jumps out of the fight, then this is bad news for the red team. Team Dynouh is taking control here. They're taking control. They are eliminating a lot of the opponent's forts. All the forts are in fact gone. Now it's all about the keeps. They have 3 kills to 1. They're looking great in these team fights, and now they have the numbers advantage on the map as well. So this is tough times for Team Disciple. Disciple's team is in trouble here. Once again, very similar to what happened in the winner bracket, they were in a commanding lead in the series. Multiple match points. Team Dynouh turned it all around and forced the final map, and has now taken the lead on map 7. Nagrom is a bit low. The arrow connects. Morenas tries to escape. 1 shot is all that's needed, and Hanzo dies. Hanzo is gone, Rhaegar is gone, and now they go for Nagrom. 5 kills to 1, and oh boy, is Team Disciple in trouble right now. It's game 7, and they are now 4 kills behind, half a level behind. They lost so many structures. Some of their keeps are going to take damage now too. Just from a mental perspective, if you're in that spot, you had already multiple match points. You weren't able to win them and just dominate the series. Now you're falling farther and farther behind on the final map. I mean, if they don't give up here, then that in and of itself would already be a huge win. But trying to force your way back into this now is going to be rough. We have level 16 on the opponent's side. You're one level behind, and the shots are fired, meaning that the wall on the keep is now going to be destroyed. They're so far behind in structures, and as we of course know, if you're falling behind in structures of the Sky Temple, you know you're in trouble. You're in real trouble. You are in like, it's a total disaster. So right now, they go again for Nagrom. Arrow completely missing. Oof, that thing is going absolutely nowhere. It narrowly missed the target, and is on its way to an A now. Half a level until we have 16. And Team Disciple, it seems like Team Dynouh is their kryptonite from the looks of it. But they're going for the boss here. And apparently the red team is willing to risk it. They're coming in for this. Or are they? Sanctification is in. There's the fight. The boss not claimed yet. Bunker is on the ground and they're playing around it. Who's going to take it here? The level 16 talent still an advantage for Team Dynouh, but Team Nagrom, Team Disciple, they're trying to do whatever they can. Urel is down. Muradin is down. The boss is stolen. Holy hell. They actually grabbed it. The boss is taken. Cure is running towards the top. And now the red team is back to business. They have their own level 16 talents here. They're moving in for Cure. And they get a kill on Thrall as well. 3 kills in a row. Boss at the bottom of the map. And the blue team coming into the middle. A huge gamble by them. A huge risk. They didn't have level 16 and they still went for the fight. They said, boys, we got it. We got Sanctification. We have Hanzo here. We got Hogger, Blaze, the jet propulsion follow-up with an additional stun. And we need to do something. If we give them the boss now too, we're gonna die a slow and painful death. So they took the gamble. They took the risk. They went in and they took it. They won the fight. Now they're trying to go for the camp, but the blue team is also fighting back. Hanzo with the arrow, and in comes Urel. They take it. Team Dynouh looking to take the lead again. But this was definitely what just brought Team Disciple back into this series. They still have a shot. This bought them a ticket back into the game. 44,000 damage output for Sylvanas, 59,000 for Hanzo. And the blue team is going for the temple once again. Both of the teams have now lost all their forts. But still, overall, a better position for Team Dynouh. They took some of these walls out. They're already damaging keeps here. We got Copenhagen fighting it off against Nagrom. In comes the next attack. Benny jumping out too. Hanzo doing his best to slowly whittle the hit points down on the blue team side. But shots are being fired and that bottom keep is in trouble. Red team moving in, trying to get Copenhagen here, as we're having Cure from the top, looking for that sundering opportunity, looking for that flank. Here comes the stun, ult used by Urel. Where's that sundering when you need it? They're engaging at the bottom of the map again. Sanctification is out. Hanzo is dead. Urel kills Hanzo, and the red team is again in trouble. Big trouble, but they're poking it out with Hogger, and here comes the shot. The kill on Thrall. Brightwing is also dead. Bad Benny is slowly turning into dead Benny as Muradin is also gone. That bottom keep is somehow still in play. Insane. Somehow they saved that bottom keep. Absolute crazy. Honestly, the series was such a blast already, and now the final map absolutely delivers as it's just blow for blow. It's like 2 boxes in a ring, just dropping the defense and going one attack after another, blow for blow, to see who is able to stand longer. 20 is ready, 1 level ahead now for Team Disciple. Whoa, what a series. We get the anger management, we have Farsia's blessing, the fortified bunker, holy arena, and the bullseye. With the storm talons, they are looking to take a few more structures out. Keep in mind that the blue team is still ahead in structure, so if it comes to an even exchange in temples, Team Dynouh would still be able to win here. So yes, it's getting crazy in this one. Half a level needs to be soaked until Team Dynouh finally has their own Storm Talons. Down at the bottom of the map, a little bit more pressure on the Bridge of Death as we have more Siege Giants spawning and they're going in for them immediately. What a series! I mean, honestly, it looked for a few moments like this was a total blowout. Like Team Dynouh would claim victory here with ease and just annihilate Team Disciple. And now it's just once again attack after attack from the two teams here. And it doesn't only come down to the final, the 7th map of the grand final. But on this final map, it comes down to the wire. We now have 20 talents in. That gives us the Withering Barrage, Seraphim, Rewind, Windrush, and Brightwing with the Invisible Friends once again, as it's an even playing field for the two. Next fights once again on eye level, as we have 6 kills to 7 and the double temple activating. Who gets the next team fight victory? And also, what's going to happen once that boss is back up? Because it's only 27 seconds, and then the boss is back up on the map. And this time we're going to have even talents for every single fight from here on out. So, shots are already being fired here towards the middle. Nobody is moving to the top. Everything is playing out in the middle on the temple here. Urel is slowly moving in. 25% of the shots roughly have been soaked, but it's the blue team that is now starting to take over on this one. Everybody's looking for that one engage, for that one move that they can make. Muradin jumps in, Stormbolt tries to get the connect here. They gotta be a little bit careful though. Disciple, arrow from Hanzo, hits the backline. Benny gets attacked quickly, doesn't have the cooldown here. Huge sundering, amazing sundering, but Rhaegar with the big ancestral, keeping everybody alive here. Somehow Muradin survived. Urel comes in and they get the kill on Hogger. Hogger is gone, Tyrael jumps out and they get the counter kill on Benny. Benny is dead, the rest of the team still following. It's a 4 versus 4 now. Absolute insane, the onslaught from the two teams here. 81,000 damage from Hanzo, 74,000 for Sylvanas. Blaze, the only one in the game that has not died yet. And here comes the move. Straight up for the shots in the middle. Once again, they're getting the shots connected. Cure gets attacked, gets the heal from Brightwing as they're focusing on Tyrael up at the front. But at least the mid lane shots get claimed by Team Disciple. They are able to take them and they're damaging the keep even further. But look over to the right side. Both of these keeps super low here. I mean, honestly, one team fight lost from the red team and the blue team would, if not go for the core, go straight for the two keeps and take them out with ease. And of course, use the catapults that would spawn afterwards to try and win the game here. With Muradin still gone for another 2 seconds, they want the boss. They're going for the gamble. They're not going for the temple. They're going for the boss instead. Now that the opponent has sniffed it out, do they let it go or do they commit? Hogger is coming. Tyrael has Sanctification. Muradin, respawn, on his way. They make the commit. They're going for it. This could be the one play that maybe even ends the game. Depends on who takes it here. Can you... Oh, insta-leash on the boss. Alright. Well, that one shut the boss attempt down, but they're trying to go for Copenhagen here. And they're actually re-engaging for just a second. Once more. Muradin, Benny! And he jumps out. Ooh. Yeah, big push at the bottom of the map now as well. No catapults here, so not really a problem. Siege Giants have been claimed, and they go for the boss. I mean, they really want this one. They want that fight. As long as they have Sanctification, they're totally confident. They drafted a comp that helps them in a situation like this, and they are forcing it again. They're fully aware that the opponent knows what's happening. Muradin comes in with another Stormbolt. Bunker's already out on the ground. The Ancestral. Here comes the Sanctification. They go for Urel, but the ult gets popped before Copenhagen dies. Benny again pushed back as the boss does not get leashed this time. Here's the opportunity to take the boss, and they claim it. They take it. The boss is taken. Team Disciple brute force their way to a boss victory. Nobody died, but they get the boss roughly at the 20-minute mark and can now go through the bot lane to try and take the first keep of the game out and maybe even net themselves some kills. Massive arrow! Huge arrow! Can they go for Cure here? He turns it around with Sundering. and he forced them back. Benny is on the run too, and they're able to get over the bridge unharmed. I have no idea how nobody died here yet. Insane. Hogger with another quick move comes in and gets the stun through, but Thrall uses the 20 to escape, and that's the end of Yrel. Yrel is finally down here, but Hogger dies too. Hogger is also dead. What is this series? What is this game? Absolute insanity. Crazy stuff here, and boy, oh boy. I don't even know what to say anymore. 9 kills, 2-8. The keep is gone at the bottom of the map. Ko hasn't taken damage, and Muradin is now going all the way up to the top to soak the temple. 120,000 damage now by Hanzo, 94,000 by Sylvanas, and now we have Team Disciple come and take it. I have absolutely no idea who's going to win this. I mean, look how low all of these keeps are. Win one team fight and you can potentially take the game. And it's so close. The keep at the bottom of the map, losing that is a bit annoying, but look at what Dynouh's doing. Dynouh's actually saying, you know what, if you're actually sitting at the top, I'm going to take this now. And boy, he needs to make sure that he's able to get out. The keep is gone. He's not moving towards the middle. And Dynouh is starting. Yeah, okay, he's escaping. He doesn't have any problems. They keep the camp pressure up with the mercenary camp. But that's the keep at the bot lane now gone. So now they are nearly dead even there. Big shots fired at the top. But this keep is also still standing. 22 minutes into this game on Sky Temple. Everybody just hovering around the top for now. Trying to push again. They want to push with the camp. They want to go for the keep. Maybe not after all. They have Muradin still here. So they take the watchtower back. Still sitting at the top. Waiting for an opportunity. Slowly starting to move in with this. They can take this keep out. That would go a long way, of course. Muradin is taking that watchtower back once again. Sylvanas making huge effort here to help them out in that situation. But yeah, they're still trying to push. They're still waiting for a chance. They sniff out Muradin, who was sitting in the bush at the side, waiting for that flank. Stormbolt, and Hogger with the Unstoppable is able to move out. Yeah. Keep is still standing, no problem there. Double Temple coming up next though. And that's going to be big. With 2 temples coming up, that's going to be pretty huge. So now it's all about the Siege Giants. Muradin is jumping in again, wants that Stormbolt on Hogger. Has been his primary target for a while now. But Disciple has always been able to move away and dodge on the stun. So now the Siege Giants are up, and they are still trying to fight for it. Scorch is coming back in, all the ults are up, and they take them. Blue team is... I don't want to say they're scared, they're definitely not, but they're cautious. They're very, very cautious. They don't want to end up in a bad spot where all of a sudden a CC chain is hitting their front line hard, especially when we're talking about somebody like Thrall, for example. You get that Hanzo arrow connected, that shockwave from Hogger, in comes the jet propulsion, and all of a sudden it just lights out. And there is one of those arrows. High risk, no reward in this case. Muradin has to retreat now too. They're pushing at the bottom of the map once again, just a little bit to force the opponent's hand. And yeah, Muradin is still sitting on the temple. So they're starting to get the shots in. And for Team Disciple, this is a real problem. Because this keep is now down. And the one at the top is likely going to fall now too. Muradin already jumped back. Yrel is still sitting at the top. Muradin! They need to save him here. And they do. Muradin is still alive. And is killed. They are following up with the Muradin kill. The core is already attacked by the shots, by the way. So Team Disciple really needs to go for a bit of a lights out move right now. Towards the top, we have Hanzo contesting Yrel. Tyrael is coming into. The core is losing hit points. The core is down to 78%. The blue team is making a play right here, right now. They're trying to backdoor it, but Sylvanas eats the stun. Dynouh in trouble. Dynouh still alive. The big Ancestral Sylvanas and Brightwing are both gone. The core at 49%. Yrel at the top dies too. It's a 5-man team wipe. They lose everybody. The arrow on the way to the core and the team not far behind. Tyrael is sitting at the top and is soaking the shots. The keeps are all gone. 49%, and Team Dynouh risked
everything. They went for it and they just didn't have enough. Here comes Team Disciple. They get the revenge for the loss in the winner bracket final. They crown themselves the champions of the Captain's Clash. What an insane grand final, and what a fantastic final map between the two teams here. Huge congratulations to Team Disciple. What a finish on the final map. And again, guys, if you haven't done it yet, hit that like button and also subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed the series here. What an absolutely fantastic tournament. GG, well played.